Welcome back to episode 159 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy. I've got a cold, Troy. My goal for the next probably 2 hours is to be the not annoying guy with a cold. I'm gonna try my hardest, but
no sniffles.
What it is.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just getting ready for Friday, first section game for Minnetonka against New Prague. It's actually New Prague, but I call them New Prague. And we'll see how that goes.
I'm sure you'll win. You're the number one seed, right?
Yes.
Want to give a show update and then a couple of special thanks before we get started. Update on our show. We don't do this real often. Not sure if anyone cares, but we do. So January, Troy, was our biggest month ever for our show.
Yep.
Largest audience ever for the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. That's pretty cool. And then our last episode, which would have been Monday, was the single biggest day ever for our show as well.
Yep.
So a lot of momentum we're riding right now. A lot of growth on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast on YouTube, we would appreciate if you did that. But I think in general...
Aren't you supposed to scream that like really loud? Didn't we talk about that? We're supposed to scream to the top of our lungs.
Like and subscribe.
Don't worry, we won't do that.
To me, I guess my takeaway from all this is I just continue to be very humbled and grateful for the mind-blowing amount of support. We never dreamed once when we said, hey, that this many people would join in and listen or watch our show. It's kind of staggering. Never in a million years did I think that it would get to this point. So thank you, everyone, for your support. We really appreciate it. Anything to add to that?
No, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Lots of great feedback given to us via different channels. The Discord community is awesome. If you're thinking about joining the Patreon, I know Josh will give the little spiel, but we have a lot of fun people in there. So I just appreciate everyone. And yes, like you said, we had no idea it would grow and this many people would listen. So thank you, everyone.
Did you ever think when we started the show, we would make this many new friends?
No, not at all. Because I was complete, oh my God, the internet. How am I going to talk to these people? But that quickly went out the window after I met people that listened to our show at various card shows, and it's been awesome.
Well, speaking of a couple of friends that we connected with through our show, again, another one of the gifts that the show has given to us, I want to give a special thanks to a couple of guys. First of all, Keith, you might know him from Just Hockey Cards, a YouTube channel. He's got amazing videos. He opens up boxes 2 or 3 days, at least a week. He is one of the most creative editors I've ever seen. His thumbnail game is off the charts. He has like the best thumbnails.
Yeah.
Well, he's helped us out a little bit. If you've seen us on YouTube and you see like the fancy intro that we have, that's way too good for our show. Well, he made it. And we're very, very grateful to him. He also edited a short that might have posted already about my Adam Fox comps rant from last show. And he's just been really, really gracious, not only with his time and doing little projects like that for us, but also giving us really good advice because he's a pretty good YouTuber, because we're middle-aged YouTubers now, Troy. So we need that advice. I just wanted to give Keith a special shout out and thank him. And maybe as a little payback, if you want to go to Just Hockey Cards on YouTube and subscribe to him as well. I know you'll enjoy his videos. Then another guy who's helped us a lot, and one of my favorite people in the hobby, is Phil, the Loud Collector. I think many in the hockey hobby know him. His Troy's spirit, energy, and charisma are completely infectious. We met him at the Toronto Sport Card Expo and instantly became friends. He has a YouTube channel as well, The Loud Collector, another must-watch. I watch every single one of his videos as well.
I watch for Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yeah, the cat. The cat creeps me out.
I love the cat.
Creeps me out. Well, so Phil, from time to time, will put on his mad scientist cap, and he's actually a very, very good graphic designer as well. Very, very talented. And he'll do stuff that like helps us out. Like our last show, he did some of our thumbnails, kind of our interesting stuff there. And then he'll do some things that, well, Troy, maybe are a little funny and depressing at the same time. Like here's the picture Phil sent to us a few days ago. So you and I have been reduced to old Muppets.
Old Muppets.
I guess. Try it. Now, which one is you and which one's me, do you think?
I think, well, I probably have more gray hair than you, so I might be the guy on the left if you're watching on YouTube.
And if you're not watching on YouTube, don't, because these are they're really funny, but they're horrible. And I messaged Phil back, and I'm like, dude, couldn't you use like Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp or something like that? Throwing us a bone here, but no. He does other stuff. Well, like I said, if you look at our last episode, some of the awesome imagery he's done there too. And so I want to say thanks to Phil, and then again, thanks to Keith. And go follow or subscribe to the Loud Collector and Just Hockey Cards. And then, Troy, you already alluded to it. Our last reminder before we get started, we have a huge show today. This is maybe our biggest show ever. Holy cow, is it a lot of work, but a lot of fun to put together. So I'm excited to get rolling. Before we do that, though, just got to mention that we are a Patreon podcast, which means that we have people that help us support our show, cover our show expenses, help us produce more and hopefully better hockey card content and fun initiatives, even in a small way to grow the hockey card hobby. We do it through Patreon. We have a out of $1.99 support level tier, so you can be one of the first, basically 200 supporters of our show. It's $5 a month. You also get access. Troy mentioned our Discord server. Get to chat with everyone there on a daily basis, and really, it's kind of our friendship portal, Troy. Oh, we make friends on our Discord. We do, though. It's true. It's corny, but true. And so that is a benefit. It's very easy to support us. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, and click on the Become a Patron link, or go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. There's a link in the show description if you're listening to us on a podcast app or watching us on YouTube. And then finally, in our Instagram and TikTok profile, there's a link there. Troy, since our last show, we have 2 new patrons.
Awesome.
AP, which is short. First name's A, last name. I always feel weird about when people, like when you have a handle or something like that. I don't mind saying like Crazy Card Collector 82. So I just shortened it to AP. Thank you. I think you know who you are. Thank you very much for being one of our new out of 199 supporters. And then Ojibwe 86, a Gongshow partner, went big.
Nice.
And so very, very grateful
to
both of your support. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. All right, man. You ready with the game plan?
I am. On today's show, we begin with the almost greatest NHL player to wear, number 59. Then it's off to look at the 2022-23 hockey. Let me say it again. Hockey hobby rookie class. And if we are currently seeing a secondary market flop for some of these top rookies. Next, it's off to hobby news, followed by another installment of Hobby Deep Dive. We then take a look at new product releases. We then take a look at some of our favorite hockey cards in the current PWCC Weekly Auction. And we end the show with personal pickups.
All right, so I got to stop you for a second.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
You did work ahead. And then this kind of came together at the last minute. But there's something that you left out of the game plan.
What did I forget? Oh, my gosh, I did. I totally forgot about it. We also have an interview with Tony Serani from Upper Deck to talk about the release of 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee. So that will be in there somewhere. I don't even know where it's going, but it'll be in this.
Just keep listening. You'll run into it.
Yeah, it'll be in this episode somewhere. That's kind of funny because I wrote this before we had that interview booked, and I didn't even think about going back. So that's my bad. That's a Gong Show moment right there. Okay, Josh. Previously, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. Ran through all the numbers, so now we are looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. Josh, the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 59, per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article, and selected by me, is Chad Larose. Now, he's going to be one of these guys that I'm sure Hurricane fans love. They know all about him. I have no clue. I know a guy named Chad Larose, so I keep thinking it's him, and I keep screwing up the name when I type it. It's Chad Larose, Larose.
You know what I think of
when
I see his name? We're both fans of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
The Pete Davidson skit with Chad.
Oh, yeah. I like the Scream one where they calls him and he's like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Chad. All right, Josh. There were no other runners up at number 59. as a reminder, the greatest to wear number 59 was Roman Josi, also known as the only person I've ever pulled a 101 of. Just a little Gong Show fact right there. Okay, Josh, Chad Larose. He's a right winger from the good old USA, Fraser, Michigan. You familiar with Fraser, Michigan?
No, the TV show, but
Fraser. Seattle. All right. Larose went undrafted, but gained interest from NHL teams during his 2002-03 season when Larose had 117 points with the Plymouth Whalers in the OHL. Larose was eventually signed with the Carolina Hurricanes in 2003.
I have a Plymouth Whalers related question.
Oh, cool.
We're from the U.S., so we're more familiar with collegiate hockey. The CHL been a little bit of a new thing for us as we've done our show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever wonder how many teams are in the CHL? It seems like every week we talk about a guy, and he's from. Is there like 300 teams or something like that? Plymouth Whalers, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, because they got the WHL. It's all right. The Canadian Hockey League's made up of, was it 3 other leagues that kind of roll?
It's like Atlantic, Middle, Pacific, right?
Yeah,
WHL, like OHL, and then the Quebec Major Junior Hockey.
I'm guessing there's got to be 60 to 70 teams probably.
We should look that up. Might be a good idea.
All right. Larose played in 508 regular season NHL games over an 8-season NHL career. Larose played his entire career with the Carolina Hurricanes. So that's why all the Carolina fans will know who this guy is. Josh, our boy, he's a one-time Stanley Cup winner, 2006 with Carolina. If you're watching on YouTube, there he is holding the cup. And once again, I forgot to share it. I'm getting so bad at that.
I got you.
Got you. All right. For his career, Josh, 85 goals, 95 assists for 180 points. Larose made the playoffs in 2 of his 8 NHL seasons, compiling 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points in 39 NHL playoff games played. That's crazy. 2 seasons he made the playoffs. He's played in 39 NHL playoff games. So I think they made the cup both years and he won it one year, if I remember right. So they lost it one year, I think, and then they won it the other year. But that's pretty nuts at 2 seasons and 39
Now,
playoffs.
if he played for the Wild, he would have made the playoffs in 10 seasons and played 39 NHL playoff games.
No, somehow he'd have played like 30 games, which would be impossible, but it would work. Yeah. It would be the Wild. So anything's possible with the Wild. Okay. So hold on. YouTubers that are watching this, there you go. There was the first picture that I never showed that I wanted to show, but I don't know how to share anymore.
That's his like blue steel look.
It is his blue steel look. Here's another great look. Best season of his NHL career from a point standpoint was his 2011-12 season. Larose had 19 goals, 13 assists for 32 points in 67 games played with the Hurricanes. Larose was known for being versatile and could play in any situation he was asked to, never took a shift off, and was continuously working his tail off during games. Thank you, Carolina newspapers, for that fantastic quote on him. He also had a flash of speed, but also could add grit and physicality while being a tenacious forechecker. For his career, he was mostly a third-line, fourth-line grinder / depth scorer, but could also play on the top 2 lines if needed. And there was a couple seasons, I think, where he was on the top line and the second line. Also, he was a fantastic penalty killer, managed to score 8 shorthanded goals during his career. And this line from CanesCountry.com, they did a profile of Larose, kind of sums him up. Chad Larose beat the odds as an undrafted player to carve out a meaningful role on and off the ice over 8 seasons and is perhaps the Hurricanes' best example of an underdog player. That's what we like. Gong Show underdog player is Chad Larose. There we go. And currently, when I tried to find out what he's doing, it seemed kind of hard. It looks like he might be coaching high school hockey at Warren De La Salle High School in Michigan, but don't quote me. It was really weird. I found an interview with him on YouTube that didn't even say who his like name or what he was from or anything. It just, they said we're interviewing Chad Larose. It kind of looked like him. I'm sure it was him.
You mean you don't call these guys at their home?
I don't. Like, I don't verify.
Chad, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man? I need to know. And it looks like he also worked as a scout before taking on the high school coaching job. Fun, interesting facts. We have almost nothing, but whatever. His nickname is Rosie, which makes sense. I could not find anything else that was very interesting unless you count the random Reddit post I saw about him and the weird pizza he likes. So if you want to know about that, go search for Chad the Rose weird pizza Reddit and you'll find it.
Oh wow, the cliffhanger.
Listen, I'll tell you if you don't want to waste your time. He likes his pizzas with no cheese and black olives. So there you go. I'm guessing tomato sauce as well. I don't know. It sounded weird. But again, it's a random Reddit post. It's probably made up because they wanted to feel better about themselves or something. I don't know. They wanted to act like they knew. Anyways, Chad the Rose, that's all we got for him. But we got some rookie card information, and I know everyone's waiting for this. So he only has 3 graded cards ever at PSA. I think that might be the only 3. And guess what? All 3 are this card, which isn't a rookie card. It's his 2009 O-Pee-Chee 119, number 119. There's 1 PSA 8, 1 PSA 9, and 1 PSA 10. I don't know why it's the 2009 that is graded there, but that's it. We're a little bit better at Beckett. 4 graded copies ever at BGS of his cards. 3 of his cards graded at BGS are his 0506 Upper Deck Ice number 240. Two of those are BGS 95s and one is the BGS 10. And then also he has 1 card at BGS that is a 2005-06 Upper Deck Rookie Update number 114, which is a BGS 9. This looks like the Pekka Rinne rookie, so I'm curious. It's probably this. I don't know if Pekka was a rookie. I can't remember off the top of my head if he was a rookie update. Probably looks like the same exact card. But anyways, that's all we got. I'm not even gonna give you pricing. These don't sell. I can't find them. You can go find raw copies for 99 cents if you really want to go find them.
Everything you ever wanted to know about Chad the Rose and probably more. There you go. Greatest to wear, number 59. Now, we did get somebody commented on YouTube after our last episode, and you just go off of whatever the Hockey Writers article has. So that's our disclaimer. You give it every episode. Did you see somebody mentioned for number 58, Chris Letang?
No, I wrote back to them. Yeah, Chris Letang was the greatest to wear number 58.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah, but since we're doing the almost greatest to wear number 58 last episode, it wouldn't be Letang. Yeah, I responded to the guy. I don't know if he saw it or anything, but
I didn't. No, maybe I should pay attention to my own show.
So
that's news to me.
Episode 58. Go back to episode 58 if you want to hear about Chris Letang.
Let's pause recording. I guess I should listen to it right now. No, just kidding. We're gonna move on. Kind of our main topic, or what do you call it? The kind of the meat of the episode here is we want to take a kind of do a deep dive into the 2022-23 rookie class and the secondary market sales and what we're calling a secondary market flop. And we've been pontificating for a while about this rookie class and maybe not having a lot of hobby impact, at least not right now. So like we try to do on our show, I thought it might be valuable to dig in, do some research, and see if the hobby market is as anemic as we think it is, or if maybe we're wrong. Now, quick disclaimer, in any of these guys we talk about, especially when they're prospects and they're young, maybe a year or two into their career, it's very early. We don't know ultimately the type of player or the type of hobby market they'll have 5 years from now, if they'll be a superstar or out of the league for that matter. So all we can do is kind of judge it today, but it's important to know that even if a guy isn't performing now, he could perform or be on a superstar path a year or two from now. And Jack Hughes would be a great example of that. So we're going to start by examining some data, and then we'll debate, I guess, what we think the key reasons why this class is not making much of a splash right now in the secondary markets. And I thought the place to start would be to cover the big rookies that had all the hype right out of the gate. And I kind of put it as like a big 5, Troy. So to me, the rookies that were pumped or marketed to really head this class from a hockey hobby perspective are Matty Beniers, Shane Wright, Juraj Slafkovsky, Matt Boldy, and Owen Power. Does that sound right to you?
Sounds right to me. Also,
we're gonna go through.
I was gonna say before we start, are you worried that Beniers is gonna find you and smack you with that fish?
Maybe.
That's That's a stiff looking fish right there.
Did he autograph that fish too? Do you see
It says MB. I think if I remember right at Kraken games, they might throw those into the stands after the game instead of like a puck for the 3 stars. So I'm guessing he might have autographed that and they throw the fish into the stands.
Okay, so they get an assigned fish. That's kind of interesting.
I'm hoping it's not a real fish, but that'd be crazy if it was.
Well, we're gonna start with Beniers.
All right.
So Matty Beniers, Troy, had a really good, maybe not all-time best, great, but a good rookie season. 24 goals, 33 assists for 57 points. Also finished plus 14. Won the Calder Trophy. Was the top rookie of the year, and then helped his team really exceed all expectations. And they made a pretty deep playoff run. So all in all, it was a pretty good year. And I think a lot was expected, of course, for not only him, but the Kraken coming into 2023-24. And he struggled. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
Maybe call it hit the sophomore slump that we've been talking about, however you want to put it. So far in 45 games played, he has 6 goals, 13 assists for 19 points, and is minus 12. So he finished last year plus 14. He's already minus 12 through 45 games this year. And his card market has been pretty bad for a reigning Calder winner. So if you look at his 2023-24 Young Gun PSA 10, top 1,250, 32% gem rate, last sold Troy for $69 on February 6th. 69. That really surprised me. Does that surprise you?
It surprises me for a guy that's a 1 year removed from a Calder Trophy. But it makes sense when you got 6 goals in 45 games that your market's going to take a definite hit.
It's down 58% since the start of the season.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of its value. Looking at how much of a current chase he is, he ranked 24th last month in our top 25 players with the most cards sold on the secondary market, which again, I was argue too, just like your point a second ago, pretty low for a Calder winner where they're still releasing 2022-23 sets. A couple of months are coming out. So you'd expect there'd be a lot of cards being bought and sold. Not much of a high-end market either, Troy. So since the start of the season, there's been 7 Matty Beniers sales greater than $1,000 and 25 sales at $500 or more. And to give you guys like a point of context here, 57 Cole Caulfield cards have sold for more than $1,000 since the start of the year, and 147 for more than 500 in the same time frame.
Yeah,
and Caulfield hasn't even had a good year, right? So maybe that puts a little more of emphasis on how the Beniers market has struggled a little bit. So that's Matty Beniers. Then we got to move on to Shane Wright.
Yeah,
tougher conversation in some ways, because to this point now, in almost 2 years, he's only played a total of 11 NHL games. 8 last year and 3 lone games this season. He's got a goal and 1 assist. Now, that being said, this year he's played pretty well in the AHL with Coachella Valley Firebirds. He's got 18 goals, 14 assists for 32 points in 41 games played. That's not bad. And of course, he's still a project and developing at this time. But with no NHL impact, your hobby market's going to suffer. If you're sitting in the AHL, there's not really a way around that.
Well, yeah, and I think he gets hurt too because he did play some games, and then the whole kerfuffle with sitting in the press box, getting benched. What are they going to do with him? Where are they going to send him? Is he going back to whatever CHL? I think that kind of weighed on him a little bit too. But yeah, with 11 games, I mean, what do you expect?
Just 19 years old or something like that. Yeah. So a lot of time left. Now his Young Gun PSA 10 has a pop just 286. 30% gem rate. Last sold for $71 on February 1st. Down about 35% since the start of the season. Again, hasn't played in the NHL, so that's not a great surprise. 0 Shane Wright cards have sold for $1,000 or more, and only 2 sales for $500 or more. And then last month, in our rankings of players with the most cards sold, he finished 49th. So not a big market there either.
No. This is the one guy I kind of want to do well. I'm rooting for this guy. I root for everyone, but I'm really, because I still loved the whole draft when he was, I think he was totally staring down the Montreal table and giving them the stink eye. And I was hoping the Shane Wright revenge tour would kick off early, but I might have to wait a little bit longer for it.
You were hooked instantly.
I was. I like drama. I like I like players and guys that are players, any sport, I don't care, women's hockey, girls or high school hockey, where they get upset or mad and they go out and just stick it to someone. Like,
Yeah.
if you get told you need to work on something, that's fine. Get mad, but go prove why they're wrong, or go get better and show them. Don't complain. Don't complain to the press, the media, your friends, whatever. Just work harder. So I hope he does it.
Yeah, it would be good. I root for everyone. The next of the big five, Troy, is your guy, Juraj Slafkovsky. Number 1 overall pick, 2023 NHL entry draft.
number one in our hearts. We've named a stat after him. So what else could he want? That's all there is.
He struggled mightily his rookie season. That's really where the stat came from.
Yeah.
Just had 4 goals and 6 assists for 10 points in 39 games played. Then he suffered a knee injury that ended the second half of his 2022-23 rookie campaign. Again, another guy very young, still 19 years old, had very limited experience, even playing in Europe before the NHL draft. So someone like Wright, he's a development project. He's just developing in the NHL, where Wright has been in the AHL. Now, his 2023-24 campaign has been better. Not a Herculean leap, but better. Through 50 games played, he has 9 goals, 13 assists for 22 points, giving him an 82 game projection of 15 goals and 36 points. Again, a lot better than last year, but Troy, still a far cry from what, if your team has the number 1 overall pick, and you draft it, no matter who it is, and in year 2, he has 15 goals and 36 points, I don't think you're very excited by that.
No, I mean, you want more, but I'm curious. This is a guy I always check in on every once in a while. He's got 3 goals in his last 2 games. So I just hope like this starts the trend of him scoring a little bit more. And obviously, again, like you said, he's young. He's probably gonna go up, down. But again, number 1 pick, probably want to see. I would love to see like 20 to 25 goals.
He had 2 goals last night, I think.
Yeah.
So good there. His young gun PSA 10, population count of 450, 31% gem rate, last sold for 150 US on February 6th. So Matty Beniers is at 69 and Slafkovsky is at 150. Still holding decent market value.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's the Montreal market thing, or the fact that people are still kind of investing more in the upside and the potential of Slafkovsky and are more considering the actual production on Beniers. No idea. But how do you explain the fact that his young guns is 150 and Beniers is 69?
Yeah, I think the Montreal market plays a lot into it. Plus, being a number 1 probably gives them a little. I don't know. Was Beniers a number 1 overall?
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so either. I'm guessing it's a little more of the holdout for that potential.
His young guns is down 17% since the start of the season as well. Now, Slafkovsky finished last month 23rd in our player rankings for most cards sold. His top end market isn't quite there, though. Only 2 sales since the start of the season at $1,000 or more, 31 at 500 or more. So a little bit more of a middle, I guess, end market there. And then if you compare him to the next number 1 overall pick, which of course is Connor Bedard, that's where it like comes off totally the rails. And some may say that's a fair comparison or not, but hey, they're both number 1 picks, right? Yeah. Bedard, since the start of the season, so that's just October 10th, Troy, 311 sales at $1,000 or more, and 1,227 sales at $500 or more.
Interesting. So here's the funny thing. I just looked up. Beniers was not number 1. He was the number 2 overall selection in 2021. You're going to get to the number 1 pick in a little bit.
We will. But before that, we got to talk about our guy, Minnesota Wild's Matt Boldy.
Come on, Boldy.
The 4th of the big 5.
Yeah.
Now, we live here in Minnesota, and the Wild are our team. So we have probably our best authority to talk about Boldy. And how I would put it is he's been a good player for our team, just wildly inconsistent. Yep. And it's not like the consistent where he's good then bad. He'll have like a 2 to 3 week stretch where he looks like an all-star. He scores, puts a point, multiple point games every game. And then he'll like disappear where you'll watch a whole game and you don't even think you saw him.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. I don't understand how he does. He just completely disappears like that. Has that been your observation, or do you? think a little bit differently about how you.
No,
See him.
that's what I've seen, and it's crazy how when he gets those hot streaks, he just goes nuts. But then it's just like you said, it's like, are you even out there? What's happening? But against the Wild, so I'm guessing that our team contributes that a lot. We've already had a coaching change this year, so there's definitely been some turmoil in house with them as well.
This season he's been okay. He's got 16 goals, 17 assists for 33 points in 42 games played. Not exactly rocket fuel for a hobby market, but it's been fine. Pretty much pacing to match last year's total. We had 31 goals and 63 points. So again, not a jump, right? And we want to see these guys as they're progressing in their development to take those year to year, move up the ladder a couple rungs, right, each year. Now he's still just 22, so hopefully he can find that next gear soon. His Young Guns PSA 10 has a pop 669, 27% gem rate, less over 75 US on February 3rd, more than Beniers. Again,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're now on the fourth kind of key rookie. The gem rates are really low.
Yeah, the gem rates that's the only thing. I mean, that's one thing that will help these cards. No matter what, their gem rates are going to be brutally low.
And Boldy in particular, 27%. That's about as low as you'll see in a modern Young Guns card. Now, Boldy did not make the top 25 in our list of players last month with the most cards sold. Finished the month ranked at 31. And then since the start of the season, 0 sales of $1,000 or more, and just 9 sales at least $500. All right, Troy, the last of our big five, you kind of alluded to him. The number 1 overall pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, Owen Power. Now, when it's all said and done, this guy might end up being the best player of the bunch.
Yep.
The hobby issue, of course, is that it appears that he's just like a really solid, really good / maybe great defensive defenseman.
Yep.
And without to this point, like a Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes type of offensive upside, which is what it takes, frankly, to be relevant in the hobby when you play in the blue line.
And his offense right now is all assists. He's our prototypical assist machine when he does get offensive points.
You're 100% right. He's played 50 games this year, 2 goals, and 16 assists for 18 points. It also doesn't help that his team's been pretty much a complete dumpster fire. They've been dramatically have not lived up to expectations.
No.
And been very, very disappointing. Many had hoped that the Buffalo would contend for a spot in the playoffs. I don't know. Between them and Ottawa, maybe who's had a more disappointing year, be a tough race there. You had already mentioned number 1 overall pick in the draft and doesn't have a huge hobby presence. Again, it's like your favorite football team drafting an offensive lineman here, right? And not the quarterback. It's a good pick. It's a foundational pick. It'll serve the team well for years to come, but it's not Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Now, Power's Young Guns PSA 10 is a pop 781, 39% gem rate, less sold for 75 US on February 4th, down about 18% since the start of the season. In our top 25 players with the most cards sold last month, he did not make that list. He finished at 47th. There's been only 1 sale of an Owen Power card over $1,000 US since the start of the season. 7 sales greater than 500. So again, not much of a real high-end hobby market either.
I would guess, Josh, if you are into any of these guys, buy away because these are pretty cheap.
Well, those are the big chases that everyone was excited about. And coming into Series 1 last year, Upper Deck was pumping.
Heck, you could get all of them for under 500 total, right? 5 guys for under 500. That's if you believe in them.
If you look at it through the hobby lens, we're kind of 0 for 5.
Yeah.
Right? There's not really a star today there. And so that kind of leads me to 2 questions for you, Troy. Do you see any of these guys becoming an NHL star and having a robust I'm talking like a Jason Robertson or Jack Hughes or anything like that. And then so the follow-up to that too is if the answer is yes, in your mind, which of the 5 is most likely?
So I know you pieced that question into 2. Do I see any of them being a star? I think Owen Power is going to be a defensive stud. And I think he's going to be fantastic. However, hobby star, no. I think Boldy has the best bet for me from what I've seen. again, I don't watch Shane Wright. I don't watch Slafkovsky enough to give you like an opinion on that. But Boldy, I've seen enough of his good stuff to know if he can put that together consistently, he'll be a star. But so he's the one I would pick, and it's probably market bias, right? He's the guy I watch the most.
Sure.
But Shane Wright and Beniers, I just don't watch enough. Slafkovsky, I'm rooting for the most out of any of these guys because I want to see him. I want to see him do well. Shane Wright, I want the revenge tour. But from what I see right now, I think Boldy's the one guy that I believe can be the star out of them and have hobby relevancy.
So that's the top 5. It's Beniers, Shane Wright, Slafkovsky, Boldy, and On Power. There's other guys, though, that at times have had maybe a little bit of a moment, even a hobby moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go through them in great depth, but Kent Johnson, he struggled this year. He was sent to the AHL for a tune-up for a bit. You got Jack Quinn, the Hughes family wannabe. Seems to play well when he plays, but rarely plays. I think he's played 14 games or something like that this year. Matthias Michelli, the Desert Dog, Troy. Much more of an assist guy, about a half a point per game right now. Pyotr Kochetkov, he had a hobby moment last year, but he's a goalie, right? So this year he's riding that roller coaster. Great and then horrible. Andrei Kuzmenko, old but awesome last year and stunk to the point this year where Rick Tocchet couldn't wait to trade him to Calgary. Jake Sanderson, he's got real potential. Again, defense though, and again, you have to be super elite. You have to be Cale Makar level, which is almost impossible. And his team's struggling too. And there's a few others, but it's kind of largely much of the same. There are 2 guys, though, that have stood out maybe a little bit more than others, and even more this year than the top 5. And to me, that would be Wyatt Johnston and then our Wild's Marco Rossi. So Johnson has showed good goal scoring potential, still very, very young, just 20. Now, he had an impressive 24 goals last year in his rookie campaign, tied Beniers for most goals by Calder eligible rookie. Remember, Kuzmenko is 27 years old, had 37 goals, but was not Calder eligible. This season, though, Troy's got 14 goals, 18 assists for 32 points in 50 games played. So it's putting him in a pace of 1 less goal, which is not great, 23, but a nice bump in overall points at 52 points. So I don't know what to read out of that. But the other thing, though, when you think about Dallas is we talk about this all the time. How the hobby supports 1, maybe sometimes sort of 2 players on a team. And so if you're excited about Wyatt Johnston, you've already got Jason Robertson and Rope Hintz on Dallas and
Oettinger sometimes, not all the time. But sometimes we all go crazy for Oettinger. I like Oettinger. I still collect him. But
so there's that factor too. Now, Johnston's Young Guns PSA 10 popped 400, 36% gem rate. That's over $103 US. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Down about 14% from last season. Not a huge hobby chase at all. He finished 65th last month in our player rankings for most cards sold. And since the start of the season, Troy, 0 sales of $1,000 US or more and 7 sales at 500 or more. So no high-end market to speak of really either. Then the other guy, the last one, we'll kind of go into any depth here. The one guy is probably having the best season, Troy. It's our guy, Marco Rossi. But again, he's kind of a tough case for the hobby. And really, because it's not this year, it's last year. He was so bad. He played 19 games at the Wild, had 1 point, and they basically shipped him for the rest of the year back to the AHL, which retained his Calder eligibility for this season. And right now, because he's playing so much better, he's 3rd in rookie scoring, 13 goals, 15 assists, 28 points, 29 games played. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Bedard still leads all rookies with 33 points. Faber is 2nd, 1 ahead of Rossi with 29. And then Rossi's 13 goals are 2nd amongst rookies to Bedard's 15. The hobby challenge, though, I think, for this guy, and this is coming from me, Troy, a Wild fan, and a fan of Rossi, too, is do you really trust what's going on this year? You have the last year Marco Rossi, and now this year Marco Rossi, and which one is he?
Yeah.
Much has been made about his struggle with long COVID and how that really stifled his development. As a hopeful Wild fan, I'm hoping and I'm thinking this years, Marco Rossi is more the true kind of character and what and level that he'll perform. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, do you think he's kind of playing out of his mind right now, or maybe this is what we can expect going forward?
Here's what worries me about Rossi. He is tiny. He's Bedard tiny. And it seems like all these tiny guys just get hurt. He's 5'9", which means he's probably 5'7", 5'8", maybe 5'9" on skates. And the long COVID thing, I hope those symptoms are gone, but that's always a little worry too. So I just think with his stature and his size, I don't know if he can be that guy. I hope he is, but I don't see it right now.
Now, Rossi's Young Guns PSA 10 is a pop 338, 36% gem rate, less sold for $52 on February 6th. So I would considering he's playing better than anyone we've talked to out of this class to this point. It looks like the hobby doesn't quite trust what's going on either here. And it's roughly flat since the start of the season. So it hasn't gone up or down. Now, he finished 51st last month for most cards sold by a player in the secondary markets. And since the start of the season, Troy, 0 Rossi cards have sold for $1,000 or more, and 6 have sold for $500 US or greater. So there's none of these guys now that we've mentioned, probably a dozen players. Nobody jumps out as the next Austin Matthews, of course, and that's going to be the trick with this group. But like we said, 3 years from now, there could be a guy that is scoring 50 goals. You never know. It's just hard to understand who that is today, and I'm not surprised that their markets are struggling. Are you?
No, I'm not surprised one bit. We've kind of been mentioning this off and on for the last I used to say month, where you've been really looking into it, and yeah, once you see the numbers, it makes complete sense why.
Then I want to kind of conclude our conversation by kind of bringing in the wax aspect of this and how the effect has been on the 2022-23 releases. Now, as you can imagine, Troy, the secondary market sales for these guys have not been great. If we look at the most recent 2022-23 release, it was Credentials, came out about a week ago. Check this out, Troy. There's been 4 sales of $100 or more.
Wow.
On a $120 box in 1 week.
Wow.
We just looked at, what kind of slip it? It's O-Pee-Chee paper release day. There's got to be hundreds of sales of $100 or more.
Oh, gotta be. I mean, I know there is. We've seen. I probably looked at 100 or more sales just looking at Bedard cards.
Also, 3 of the 4 sales are the Provisions cards of like Gretzky, Cider, and Patrick Cloud. There's 1 rookie sale of Credentials to this point in a week, over $100 and that's a Juraj Slafkovsky out of 99 rookie auto redemption. So for 141 yesterday.
Well, I like to see those Provisions selling those since I'm now gushing as a fanboy of Provisions.
Well, I didn't know until today too that there's a Gretzky. I found really interesting.
Nice.
I'm not sure that was on the checklist. The other and then if you look at the 2022-23 release before that, Troy, it was Ice, which came out on January 12th. It's been out about a month. 22 total secondary market sales per card letter sales history of more than $100 out of how many thousands of boxes have been opened, Troy?
These boxes should be going for like $30 at your card shop. I know they're not, but they should be.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And of the 22, only 15 are rookies. So in almost a month, 15 rookie sales. Now the top rookie sale too is out of 10 Ice Premier's patch auto for Slafkovsky. That's sold for $361 US. Like that's your biggest rookie sale out of the box. That has exquisite rookie patch autos as well.
That's true. Yep.
So I don't know, Troy, has this conversation got you pumped about the remaining 2022-23 releases?
The sad thing is it gets me pumped that these things might be just dirt cheap at some point. Like I love when boxes run into the 30, 40 bucks. So they're trying to get rid of them. I'll even buy SP game used if I see it at that price.
There might be deals at the expo coming up in a month or so.
Yeah, because if dealers want to get rid of their inventory, because I mean, what are you going to do? Like, if you don't think this class is going to do anything, you can't sit on it. I mean, it's not gonna, if you don't think the guys are ever going to do anything. So you got to try to move it and get some of your money back.
And what started this whole idea is the fact that we've observed that anecdotally and through data that these 2022-23 sets are just not selling really well. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, what is it? Is it the rookie class? Is it the whole Bedard war chesting thing? Is it the hockey market is down so much nobody cares about hockey cards anymore? And when you go through and you look at these and you take the time and you look up the stats and you look up the sales data and look at these rookies one by one, like I said, it doesn't surprise me that it's selling so well. And I'm sure people are war chesting for Bedard. We know what's happened to the market, but in my mind, Troy, the biggest issue is they're just not playing all that well right now. And you can't overcome that if you're Upper Deck or if you're a hobby shop or anything like that. Do you agree with that, or do you lean more towards the Bedard factor or the general market?
Because even in releases that come out where they have good rookies, they perform. This is just, I think it's totally up to, what do you think? 9 or 80% the rookie class, how they're performing, and maybe 10 to 20% of war chesting for Bedard. I don't know. I think this is totally driven by how bad the rookie class has been so far.
And maybe if you get him cheap, then one turns it around and you could have some big wins.
Yeah.
A couple years down the road. Okay, we got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor Slab Sharks. Of course, we're very grateful to them for helping us grow our show and supporting us. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction ends tonight. Make sure you log on to slabsharks.com for a link to the auction in order to see all the awesome hockey cards they have available and to place your bids. And if you missed it, don't worry. Once one auction ends, the next one begins. They always have great cards to choose from. It's been a pretty short amount of time, Troy. Slab Sharks has become, I would say, maybe a premier auction or eBay consigner for the hockey hobby.
Yeah, for sure. Hockey.
It's a testament, I think, to how hard they're working. They provide fantastic service. They're very engaged, and they also drive tons of hockey collectors to their weekly auctions. So if you're a Canadian hockey cards collector, first, congratulations for being awesome. Secondly, you might want to sell a few cards, put some cash in your pocket. Cash is king, Troy. You ever heard that? Cash is king?
I've heard that.
If that's the case, then we'd recommend checking out Slab Sharks eBay consignment services. They take away all the hassle from selling your cards on eBay. You just send them your cards or drop them off at a show, and they do all the rest. And remember, too, until June 1st, they're offering a 98% payout rate on all Connor Bedard cards. So all those Bedards you're pulling out of O-Pee-Chee, probably should send them to Slab Sharks. Because if you sell them yourself, well, number one, you're going to do all the work. You're going to pay 13% in fees. Why not send it to Slab Sharks, let them do the work, and get 90%, 98% of the money? Makes sense to me. For complete consignment information, including payout rates, and to start consigning your cards today, check out slabsharks.com. Hobby news.
Hobby news.
Oh,
that was a sneaky delay.
You're sneaky. You're sneaky. You had me worried, but thank you for coming through. You've now I'll get through the show, even though I was on the struggle bus a little bit last segment.
Yeah, I marked down a couple times. If I have to go back and edit you out because you're looking like you're struggling.
Yeah, struggle's real here. Well, we're gonna do a little mini social roundup. I wanted to get your input on some of this stuff, and so I thought I would share a social post we did a few days ago, Troy, on the top 5 hockey sales from January 2024. We can maybe state our opinions. Maybe we'll argue. Who knows? That would be good for you. Like drama, so we'll see. We're to keep the suspense. We're gonna start with number 5 and build our way up to number 1, Troy. So let's just get right into it. The 5 highest selling hockey cards last month. Number 5 was this 2009-10 exquisite collection Wayne Gretzky 2003-04 flashback tribute patch auto out of 25 PSA 8. Sold for $27,450 US on January 27th. Now it's technically a 2-color patch, but 5% orange.
Yeah.
A little bit of blue in there. The patch is game used. Big plus there. It's the second highest sale ever for this card. $27,450.
Yeah, I was going to ask you your love for exquisite and just what I've seen of Exquisite. I thought this seemed low, but that might just be me. Is that fair, or is
No,
this
well,
because
it's
it's
the
a PSA
second.
8?
Yeah, it's the second highest sale ever, but compared to the biggest sale, which is a BGS 9 that sold for a whopping
Well, that
56,000
was in September 2029.
September 2021. So very
Yeah, so
pandemic.
that's probably right.
And that card had a nicer patch. We are seeing a lot of these 0304 tributes, and I love it, but I'm gonna admit I'm feeling a little bit of the
Yeah,
burnout right now.
the junk the junk Exquisite retro era.
The junk 0304 exquisite tribute era. So coming to you on the next Hockey Cards Gongshow
Yeah,
podcast.
okay.
We're gonna talk about that for an hour and
Deep
45
dive.
minutes. Can't wait. So that's number 5. $27,450. Gretzky 0304 flashback.
So not in the league, number 5. Not playing right now.
Nope. Number 4, really nice card, Troy. 1966 Topps Bobby Orr SGC 8.5.
Yeah.
Sold for $31,720 US on January 27th, just like the Gretzky tribute. At an SGC 8.5 grade, it's a pop 3 with 3 graded higher. There's 3 SGC 9s, no 10s. Just a little point of comparison, there's 47 PSA 8s, 1 PSA 8.5, and 1 PSA 9. Now, it's an old holder. It's in that old kind of like where they did.
Well, it's like I know nothing about SGC old stuff, like grading.
Yeah.
What's 92 mean? 8.5 doesn't translate to 92, does it?
It does, I guess.
Okay.
Well, it says 8.5 right below it, like really small.
Yeah, I see the 8.5, but wouldn't that be a 9? Wouldn't you expect 92 to be a 9?
It's out of 100. It's kind of like Tag's grading scale, which is out of 1,000.
Oh, all right.
Right. So I'm sure Tag wouldn't like that.
Glad SGC changed.
I've asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again because I literally have never made up my mind on it. If I have this card and I think I want to sell it, part of me is like, oh, it'd be so much better to have SGC reholder it. But then I think I would immediately start to panic and be like, what if they crack this and the card gets damaged somehow? Because I have to believe maybe it would have sold for a couple thousand more if it was in a new holder, wouldn't you? Or do you think that that's poppycock and doesn't matter?
Oh, I think it would sell for more. What about throwing it in a PSA holder? Because it looks really nice. I mean, it's got a high grade. SGC is not a lenient grader. So, I mean, you could try to go that route, but you haven't had personal experience with PSA and they've kind of botched something of
Yeah, they
yours
wrecked a
one
huge
time.
card.
Yeah, they wrecked a card. And I don't think the grading companies, I would love to see how they get a card out of the holder, because all I've seen is YouTube videos of people cracking them, and I would be scared to death I'd ruin the card. So I'm curious how if they do it the same way. I'm assuming, I don't know. These things are meant not to get broken into, right? So they're not easy to get out.
Yeah. And maybe they have special machines that prevent that, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Now at $31,720 US, it is a record sale for an SGC 8.5. But the other sales were like forever ago. There was a $14,100 sale in December of 2013 and a $19,165 US dollar sale in May of 2012. So the fact that it's a record shouldn't be shocking because it's more than 10 years for the previous sales. As a comparison to the last PSA 8 that sold was in November 2022, went for almost the same price. So it's a little bit lower grade, but it is PSA 31,200 US. I had to use PSA 8 because the lone PSA 8.5 does not have a recorded public sale that I could find. So it's a big time card, a big grade, right? And so they don't sell very often. So on the comparable game, there's just not a lot to compare it to. Last question I have for you on this card, Troy, is where on your bucket list rankings is owning not this card, but any Bobby Orr rookie? Is it a card that interests you?
This card definitely, I mean, it's definitely top 10, but here's my sad thing. You know this. I'm kind of hinted at or I've said this many times. I still would be happy with just a stature auto Bobby Orr. Like a new release Bobby Orr with an auto. I love the way they look on those cards. I would probably be happy with that too. But yes, it's definitely on the bucket list eventually to have one. We'll just see if it ever happens.
You're a stature fanboy.
That's why we love it. Yep.
Okay, next at number 3 in top hockey sales for January 2024, we have a medium-sized cardboard box, just like the ones that sit on our porches every day from Amazon, Troy.
Yeah.
But this one, somebody shelled out $32,400 for in January 26th. They did
And
that
this-
because of what's inside, which is 6 tins of 2015-16 the cup.
Yeah.
Of course, making it a sealed case.
Guess what? Next month, you're going to have another cardboard box on here, and it will probably be number 1.
Oh, yeah, and with a bullet. Probably be number 1. What the heck? How could it not be number 1? I just can't get over the whole cardboard box thing. Like, that's literally because you destroy the value if you open it. We've already beat that dead horse. And so really, you're as a collectible, you're buying a cardboard box that has, you just show it to your friends. It's like, oh, you know, what are they going to say? It's like, oh, nice box, I guess. Kind of heavy. I don't know. The big chase here, of course, is going to be the Connor McDavid RPAs. When I was thinking about this, it did make me wonder, and you might know the answer to this. Is there anyone that's ever like tracked how many of the 90 out of 99 McDavid RPAs are known to be pulled?
Yeah, I thought a long time ago when we first started a show, a guy sent us a website. I know a guy did, or maybe it was a form where they were trying to track. I don't know if it was the McDavid, what exactly they were trying to track. I know. I mean, Jeremy had his website, but he took the pictures himself, and I don't think he got up to 2015. It was just the Crosbys,
sure,
no Ovechkins. But yeah, this is where I want RFIDs or something, or somehow we could track these cards. And
I think Topps is doing that with their big cards now.
Are they? Cool. Mm-hmm. That I like that. I think it helps the hobby.
So Upper Deck does like their version of like, guess how many marbles are in the jar. You can win $500. But the question is, how many of the 2015-16 the Cup McDavid out of 99 RPAs have been pulled? Yeah. What would your guess be?
Oh, I have no idea. Over half, I would assume.
The number that sticks with me is 70. It's just I don't know why. All-time high sale, Troy, for a brown cardboard box that supposedly has 2015-16 the cup in it. It was $42,000 US in January 2023. That's the other thing. You can't open it, so you never really even know if the cup's in there for sure.
I would open this. I couldn't, even if I bought it, I was like, I'm going to hold this thing. The second it was sitting in my closet to my left and I looked over like this, I'd probably stop the show and just go over there and start opening boxes.
I'd bring a 12-pack of beer over, and then I'd wait till you're like 6 in, and I'd be like, oh, hey, Troy.
And we would get nothing.
Let's check out the cardboard box.
We'd get nothing but Ryan O'Reilly's and a bunch of just awesome cards that we love but aren't worth anything.
Well, if I was a good friend and we were drinking beer and looking at your cardboard box here, what I would tell you is even at the sale, Troy, let's say you paid $32,400 US for this case, right? There's 6 tins in there, and each tin contains 6 cards. That's 36 total cards. That's a pretty big box for 36 cards. So whoever bought this just paid $900 US even per card. It's a lot of money. Don't open it. Moral of the story.
Please.
Number 2, Troy, is a tie. You have a tie.
Ooh, I like it.
So we'll start, and we're going to stay with the wax theme. Go first with this 1979 Topps. This is Topps Hockey sealed wax box. Certified by BCE, not BBCE. BCE, which stands for Baseball Card Exchange.
Is that the same people?
I don't think so. Experts in hockey, I guess, too.
No, it's got to be, right? You can't have BBCE and BCE. They got to be the same thing.
I was given this world. I didn't make it, Troy. Well, this box of Topps hockey cards with BCE certification sold for $34,800 January 26th. Of course, it's the Topps product, not O-Pee-Chee. You're chasing a Gretzky rookie, of course, in the box. Now, during the pandemic boom in May 2022, a box of this, just like this, sold for $75,000 US. That's a lot of money. Now, to even kind of have a more dramatic comparison, looking at its O-Pee-Chee cousin, the last O-Pee-Chee wax box to sell was last May, $186,000 US. There's a big difference in wax price between Topps and O-Pee-Chee. The other number 2, Troy, let's get back to cards. 1951 Parker's Gordie Howe PSA 7 in a really old PSA holder.
Really old.
It's gotta be like one of the first. It almost looks like sold for $34,800. Tied for second on January 26th. It's a PSA 7 pop 44, 42 graded higher. So there's 5 PSA 7.5s, 34 PSA 8s, 2 PSA 8.5s, and 1 lonely PSA 9. Now, this sale was actually really close to matching its all-time high, which was $36,000 US in August 2022. So, pretty strong sale for a PSA 7 Gordie Howe rookie. Any comments?
No, I'm still thrown off by the BCE and BBC. I can't get over that. But yeah, I would love to have this card. Just not in my cards right now. I don't have enough money to buy this straight out. But yeah,
Top to bottom centering.
Yeah, it's
34,000. It's too distracting for me.
Definitely just distracting. I cannot stand. I can't stand PSA holders today. So this is even worse.
Okay, finally, number 1, Troy. You got the button bar drum roll. King of the hobby, remains undefeated, Wayne Gretzky. This 1979 O-Pee-Chee Wayne Gretzky rookie PSA 9 sold for $134,200 US on January 27th. At PSA 9, it's a pop 93. Most know there's 2 graded higher. There's 2 PSA 10s. Many might not know, though, there's 803 PSA 8s. So pop gets really big once you get past 9. Kind of interesting, too. To date, there's been 191 public sales of a 1979 O-Pee-Chee Wayne Gretzky PSA 9.
Really?
Card ladder sales history. All-time record sale for this card, Troy, 265,200 from April 2021. So just like in our analysis, pre-pandemic or post, down half, right?
Yep.
Now, it had dipped to 114,000 US last May, but the last 2 sales have been over 130,000. So it seems to be trending up just a bit.
But it seems so cheap for a PSA 9 O-Pee-Chee Gretzky rookie. But I gets it. That's the market. This one looks. I'm trying to do my best, Jeremy. I'm zooming in, looking at the oil drop, looking at registration. Make sure that watermarks or the whatever you call it, the dots on his shoulder, because then we know that makes it more legit. Probably.
Jeremy should sell certifications. Like you can, for only $1,200, you can do our 12-week course and be a Jeremy Lee certified Gretzky rookie collector.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, that's the top 5. Well, I guess top 6, right? We had a tie.
Yeah, tie.
From January 2024. Any surprises in this list to you?
That there's only one guy that's currently playing. That's my big surprise. No guys.
Yeah, I was like, who's that?
Why did I say McDavid? I thought I saw McDavid. Boy, I'm kind
of. It's the 2015-16 case. It's a
that's
brown box that may or may not contain guys that are currently playing.
Yeah. No, I mean nothing really. Again, yes, it's amazing how much people pay for a cardboard box, but I get it from what's in there. But
strong vintage market's pretty strong. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but is always kind of there. And we'll be back with the same list next month and see what the hobby's spending the big bucks on in February. Going to move on, Troy, to the big announcement that came in yesterday. 2025 Winter Classic was announced. And was there ever any doubt in anyone's mind?
They are not. The NHL are not dummies. They knew what they were doing. They had to do this.
They wouldn't, couldn't, shouldn't, and just refused to pass up the opportunity to put Connor Bedard in the Winter Classic ASAP. Right? 2025 Winter Classic will be hosted by your Chicago Blackhawks, Troy, at Wrigley Field. They're going to take on the St. Louis Blues.
That's cool. That'll be cool.
It makes me think. You really think so? I feel like the Blues now are like the Washington Generals for the Winter Classic.
So I read ahead. You're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. So the Blues are 2-0 ever in Winter Classics. So they've won every Winter Classic they've been in, which is only 2.
Well, but maybe it's just the Wild thing in the last couple of years. But they always seem to be the opponent.
Negative 10-degree weather.
The NHL is obviously neck deep, Troy, and Connor Bedard promotion, which is probably a good thing. It's not that the Blues aren't fine. It's an old division rival. But why would you not pass up the opportunity to have Edmonton come down and have it be McDavid versus Bedard. It's not like the Canadian teams never played in the Winter Classic. I think Toronto played it in 2014. So instead of like McDavid versus Bedard, we have Jordan Kyrou versus Bedard. That part I just
you're definitely right. You could have picked a better team, or even the Rangers or a Boston or
what about the Devils? Jack Hughes, Connor Bedard.
There you go. I was going more of the original 6 route, but I think that's probably been played out. I know we've talked about that in the past, but yeah, Bedard would be, or McDavid and Edmonton would be cool. I'm guessing they're going for the more regional rivalry to drive up some. Because I'm curious how much Wrigley seats for hockey. 35, 50,000 maybe.
That is kind of a little bonus. Wrigley Field's pretty awesome. Have you ever gone to a baseball game there?
I've never been there. That's definitely on the bucket list. Nope.
It'll be the 3rd time Chicago will host the Winter Classic. I'm just assuming that they're going to host every year now. So 10 years from now will be the 13th time. The 2026 Connor Bedard Classic at Wrigley Field.
Yes.
That's what they're going to call it now. It'll be the official name. So you're not as bothered by the Blues as I am.
No.
Okay. That's fair. But that'll be a huge event. Okay, this next one, Troy, a little bit controversial, and it's not us. We're just reporting the news here. Really the news. But Trevor Zegras voted the most overrated player in the NHL.
I tried to time it perfect. You said his name and then I did the picture, so our YouTubers will see it. You can see his reaction.
Trevor. Shots fired by the NHL players at Trevor Zegras, Troy.
I would have bet a lot of money. I would have got this right. If they asked me who the players would vote, not that I know any players, but I would have totally thought this was the guy they're going to go after.
In an article published by The Athletic, they did an anonymous poll of 101 current NHL players, asked a number of great questions. We could have done a whole show on this article.
Oh, yeah, you could definitely do a whole show on it.
But one of the questions, though, was who is the most overrated player in the league? We're going to go through the top 10, and then we'll circle back to Mr. Zegras here. So number 1 was Trevor Zegras at 12.8% of the vote.
But let's put that in context. So you got to remember, how many did you say? 101. So 13 guys. Yeah. Again, I sometimes they make the headline a little more satiable than it is. But yeah, I get it though.
There was a couple quotes. I'm glad that the article actually got quotes from players.
Yes.
Again, these are anonymous. So here's what a few players said about Trevor Zegras and why they think he's the most overrated. Player 1 said, a lot of hype around him in terms of some of the cool goals and plays that he's made. I feel like that doesn't translate to an everyday type of player. He was on the cover of the NHL game. There's a lot of hype, I would say. And then another guy says, nothing against the guy. I just think he got hyped a lot instead of the play consistently night in, night out on the ice. So there's kind of a theme there, right? Nobody's exactly trashing him. They're just saying maybe the hype doesn't equal the play. And again, we'll get back to Zegras in a minute. Number 2, Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
And this is now where with Zegras, it's about the hype and about being on a cover of NHL, EA NHL and all that. With Darnell Nurse, it's about his contract. When you sign an 8-year, $74 million contract, and then you have 6 goals, 17 points in 45 games played, you're going to have people that I think he makes more than Cale Makar, if my memory serves me correct.
I will never understand how he got that much money. Never. I will never understand how Darnell Nurse got that much money. Do you know when that contract was signed?
I don't. A year or two ago?
I'm slowly trying to look it up.
Okay, I'll give the quote then. So one of the anonymous players said about Darnell Nurse that he's a hell of a player. One player just said, I just think he makes the same as Makar, and that's kind of crazy. Yeah, so there again, there's the Makar reference.
I can't find it. It's not. I was looking at Hockey Reference, but again, for that much money, he's never scored more than 16 goals in a season. To me, that's just nuts. I'm sure he does other things, but man, it's a lot of money to give to a non-goal. Wait, do the value of that contract by goal. Holy cow.
Or maybe if you had a $6 million defenseman and then a goalie, money for goalie, that might have helped the Oilers as well.
Yeah, I guess Darnell's a defenseman too, so there's probably some of that to it. That's a lot of money for. All right.
Now, the next two are maybe surprises. One of them, well, actually, both surprised me a little bit. Matthew Tkachuk came in tied for third. One of the guys tied for third. Now, maybe it's because he's like a rabble rouser that gets under people's skin, but it just surprised me a little bit. And before you get your feedback, Troy, here's a quote from one of those anonymous players. He got overrated in the playoffs last year. Everyone was talking about him being one of the best players in the world. I don't see it. He's a great player, but people talk about him like he's top 10 in the world. We had like back-to-back seasons of like 115 points or something.
Yeah, I would take umbrage with that. At that time, he was probably one of the best players in the world. Now he's probably not.
The next one, who's tied with the Tkachuk for third, this one really surprised me. J-Rob.
Yeah, J-Rob.
Jason Robertson. Underrated or overrated. Now, if I had to guess the reason why, it would have been something, because I've talked to a few people, maybe holes in his game. And here's the quote that came from one of the anonymous players. Sometimes you really don't see him during a game, and he finishes with 3 points. So is that, kind of a compliment, right? And they said he still produces, but for me, he's not like McKinnon. He's a game changer, but not like these guys. Now,
that quote makes no sense.
Yeah, and I take umbrage with it too, because I don't remember anyone putting J-Rob in the Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon category.
Yeah, he still produces. He said sometimes you don't see him, but he gets 3 points. He doesn't, or he still produces, but he's not McKinnon. He's a game changer, but not like this is like if this is like the most backhanded compliments ever. I don't know. I think he failed. This doesn't make sense to me.
I have heard though that J-Rob tends to disappear.
Yeah,
and he doesn't play nearly as physical as his size.
Mm-hmm.
Could be wrong. Okay, the next guy I think is shocking to no one, Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah,
and this is crazy. So if you think about it, now you're right. It's like probably the difference of 1 or 2 votes, but Matthew Tkachuk and Jason Robertson apparently are more overrated than Jonathan Huberdeau.
Even after I'm going to name an award after Huberdeau for the greatest decline percentage in points from the previous season.
Next guy is not kind of not surprising to me either. It's Ovi.
Yeah.
And whoever is voting for him is judging his play today versus the totality of his career. And, he's going to ride the laurels of his body of work, where if he was a no-name player that was starting today, he would have been cut from the league probably, right? He's just near the end. Then running out were Wright, Nugent Hopkins, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Again, Matthew Tkachuk is less or more overrated than Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Who's Pierre? Who's he play for now?
LA.
That's right. I was going to say, if you asked, if they asked 24 LA Kings players who's the most overrated, I'm guessing he'd be higher up.
And then Patrick Laine is number 9, and then the 10th most overrated player, Erik Karlsson.
Yep.
You've been on that train for
I've been on
a year and a
Erik
half
Karlsson, overrated train.
Okay, but we're going to get back to Zegras, though. And I thought this was great. The Athletic actually published a follow-up article to him being named the most overrated player in the NHL. Of course, again, by an anonymous player poll, where they asked his teammates about the survey results. And in some way, I would say predictably, they came to his result. But then I think, I'll chime in a minute, I guess, about how I think that maybe they went a little, maybe above and beyond too. So here's a good quote from Ryan Strome. Played with Zegras now for a couple of years. Strome says, I think there's a persona around him where other guys don't really like him because he's a little loud and he has a lot of personality. There's not many guys that have had 60 plus points in their entry level contract twice. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, when his contract was up, I'm pretty sure there's only 8 guys that had higher points per game in the last 10 years on an entry level deal than him. If that's overrated, then I'll be overrated all day. I'd love to be overrated. The numbers don't really lie. Troy Terry went on to say, just because people on the outside that don't watch him every day just see his highlights, it's kind of hard to live up to that all the time. Just how impressive some of the stuff he does is. Honestly, internally, and I have my own personal relationship with him, but by the way I view him as a hockey player, it doesn't have anything to do with the Michigan or those highlights. I mean, his hands, his brain, and this year, I think, with the changing of the organization, everything, I think he's really tried to buy into trying to maybe be more responsible away from the puck and just trying to kind of round out his game. If people just look at numbers this year, it could be deceiving. He's the most skilled player I've ever played with. And then finally, Troy, Mason McTavish said it's weird for players to say that a younger guy is overrated. He's still obviously getting better. He's already really good on our team. Obviously, he's out right now. That sucks. He's been out with the other injury too. Everybody in here knows how good he is, including myself. So I'm gonna get your opinion, but here was my takeaway from this: is that number one, reporter walks in and references your player being on your team, a teammate being named most overrated player. Of course, you're gonna not say, "Yeah, I think he
No.
sucks." But I do think though that that's why I wanted to read these quotes in depth. I think they did more than they had to, too. Don't you? Like said more than they had to in
I
defending
don't think
him.
so. I'm completely fine with what they said. That's what
No, no,
I,
no, I'm fine too. But I meant that like in a good way, like that they actually did more
oh
than the minimum required, in that these guys probably actually believe he's pretty good.
oh yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I guess a little bit. I don't know. This one's hard for me to answer because I think some of the I don't know Ryan Strom or Troy Terry how
Yeah,
they
that's
talk.
true.
Maybe this is just who they are. But yeah, I mean, going into depth is good, but you never know. I mean, actually, it's nice to see because obviously you don't want your teammates bad mouthing you to the press. But it'll be
Well, that
interesting
would
to
be
see
bad.
once he leaves if they come out and oh, he's terrible. I don't know if he's leaving. I got no. It's funny how every 2 seconds on my news feed comes up. Trevor Zegras rumored to be going to the Canadians. What would a trade to the so and so mean? It's like,
Okay, so Troy, now the players around the league have spoken. Trevor Zegras' teammates have spoken, but the hobby really most wants to hear from you.
yeah.
Is Trevor Zegras overrated? You decide.
I don't think so. Not right now. He's a good player. He's brash. I love it. I love the cockiness. I know a lot of people hate it. I think where he's going to get in trouble though is if his management hates him. I know he's out injured right now, but if his management is fed up with him, they could all, or his coach is even fed up with him, they might bury him on the lineup or healthy scratches or whatever. So I do think he probably needs a change of scenery. I think he probably needs to get out of Anaheim, but I don't think he's overrated.
I do too, and that's kind of a bummer because with Leo Carlson and Mason McTavish there and Cutter Gauthier coming,
Yeah.
that could be a really exciting core. But I'm 100% agree with you, and I would be more surprised that he doesn't get traded this summer than if I think he should too.
Yeah.
Now, he hasn't been on the ice much this year. He missed significant time with a core injury and then a broken ankle. In just 20 games played this season, he has 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. He's a 2021-22 young gun. PSA 10 pop 1,157, 29% gem rate, Troy. That's over $104 US on February 4th. Up actually 8% in the past 2 weeks, but down 6% over the past month. All right. It's time to move on to Hobby Deep Dive. We're back with another edition of it, Troy.
Oh.
Easily probably your favorite 15 minutes of the week, right?
Let's do
Our
it.
4th Hobby Deep Dive now. We're going to learn more about veterans and stars in the NHL, as opposed to our Rookie Deep Dive segment, which has been a little bit of a short hiatus. For Hobby Deep Dives, here's who we've covered so far, Troy. We've covered Elias Pettersson, Nathan McKinnon, and Cale Makar. Now, we'll pick up the Rookie Deep Dives again as soon as we get close. Well, Series 2 is about a month, so probably next week we'll start back with Rookie Deep Dives. But this week's candidates that were presented for your vote in an Instagram poll were Troy's guy, Nikita Kucherov, got to stick with the Cooch, David Pasternak, Evgeny Malkin, and Leon Draisaitl. Winner, chicken dinner, Troy. My guy, Leon Draisaitl. 39% of the vote, followed by 29% for Pasta, 20% for your guy Kucherov, and then Malkin comes in last with 18%. So a lot closer this week. Wasn't last week was a blowout, right, for Makar?
I think so. Yeah.
I think I
As much of a blowout as this can be.
Now, Draisaitl is one of my small PC guys, so I'm kind of was happy to learn more about him. So let's do our deep dive. Let's learn about Draisaitl and see if we figure out anything new here. Leon Tim Draisaitl, 28-year-old forward for the Edmonton Oilers. So what do we think of the middle name Tim? Right, it's pretty kind of succinct, short.
I love it because it reminds me of Monty Python.
Right.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Me and my kids just watched it, and
What did they think of that?
So they loved, like, there were certain scenes they loved. My son could not stop laughing at the rabbit when they go with Tim. There's some who call me Tim, and then they go find the rabbit in the cage, and they're like, when it starts jumping and biting, he just lost it. He went nuts. So I'm a huge Monty Python fan. I got all their stuff on VHS tapes, so that shows you my age.
Now, Tim could be like an exotic name in Germany. You never know.
Yeah, I never know.
Draisaitl's from Cologne, Germany. Germany. Probably means he smells nice then, right?
Could be.
Yeah. Dad joke. Comes from a hockey family, Troy. His father, Peter Draisaitl, played internationally for both West Germany and Germany in the World Cup, and then in 3 Olympics, 1988, 92, and 98 Winter Games. Looks like he's got even a couple of hockey cards here. You should add this to your Peter Draisaitl collection. Now, Leon grew up playing in Germany. In 2011-12, while playing in the German Development League, he scored 21 goals, had 56 points in 35 games played for the young. I'm sick, people. Stop laughing. I know you're laughing. I'm laughing too.
Young Adler, Mannheim.
Young Adler, Mannheim, Monheim.
German will be your crutch. French will be my crutch, and we'll just be happy about it.
Words are my crutch. He was named the league's player of the year. We are an equal opportunity foreign city name butchers. So you can add now Germany to the ever expanding list. Then drafted second overall in the 2012 CHL import draft by the Prince Albert Raiders of the WHL. 16 years old at the time. He was drafted number 2, Troy. Who's taking number 1? Ivan Barbashev. Talked about him last week.
Nice.
Also, doesn't import draft seem kind of a cold way of like putting it? It's like a beer, right?
Yeah.
An import draft. Draisaitl would go on to play 2 seasons in Prince Albert. Scored 21 goals, 58 points in 2012-13. Then improved to 38 goals and 105 points in 64 games played in 2013-14. He was then drafted 3rd overall in the 2014 NHL entry draft by the Edmonton Oilers. So without reading, and looking at the photo, can you go by their faces who the top 2 were?
Oh, Vanek's 14. And then I don't know who the guy in the middle is. I don't know who that is. Who's that?
Well, you're wrong about Vanek. So Aaron Ekblad was taken 1st overall by and then Sam Reinhart.
Oh, that's Sam Reinhart.
Yeah,
well, I was way off.
I panicked there for a minute. Yeah, Sam Reinhart.
Well, now that you say the year, Vanek would have been earlier, I think.
So it looks like Draisaitl fell right into the lap of the Oilers at number 3.
Vanek was 5th overall in 2003, so I was a little off.
Rocket Richard. Draisaitl signed a 3-year entry-level contract that August. It did actually start the 2014-15 season with the Oilers. Played 37 games, scored 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points, and then was reassigned back to the WHL. So here we go, right? We just talked about guys that are underwhelming from the 2022 class. Draisaitl wasn't exactly all that great. His first 37 games in the NHL. Didn't go back to Prince Albert, though. He's traded to I never know how to say this one. Is it the Kelowna? Somebody else tell us.
Kelowna Rockets? Kelowna? I don't know.
The struggle's real tonight. My brain is fried. But we're going to Kelowna Rockets, Kelowna in the WHL, played 32 games for them in 2014-15, scoring 19 goals, added 34 assists for 53 points. He helped the Rockets to the Western Hockey League Championship in 2015, named the playoffs MVP. Now, this is kind of cool. He was even named the Memorial Cup MVP that year, even though his Rockets team lost the championship in overtime 2-1 to the Oshawa Generals.
I don't hear that too often.
Oh. And then since 2015-16, he's been pretty much a mainstay in the Oilers lineup. 19 goals, 51 points that first year, and has never had less than 70 points since. Kind of a bummer with the COVID shortened season, because if you look at his last 5 seasons, the only year he had less than 100 points was that 2020-21 campaign, where Troy still had 84 points in 54 games played, or 56 games played. The other 4 seasons, though, 105 points, 110 points. Then the 2 seasons after COVID, 110 and 128. He was named the alternate captain of the Oilers in 2019-20 and is paired with Connor McDavid to become one of the best 1-2 punches in the NHL. I think most people would say that. This is kind of cool. In 2020, Draisaitl became the first German player to win the Art Ross, Hart Memorial Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay Award. Got it all done that year. Now, in his career, he has 329 goals, 472 assists, 801 points, 683 games played. And if you look back at the last 10 HL seasons, only McDavid has more points than Leon Draisaitl. So Draisaitl has 801, McDavid 917. And then only Ovechkin, Matthews, and Pasternak in the last 10 years have more goals than Leon Draisaitl. To agree, of course, he lives in McDavid's shadow. And kind of one of the frustrating parts about liking Draisaitl is any conversation with any other, whether it be hockey card collector or hockey fan even. And if you start to talk about how good Draisaitl is, you're going to guaranteed 100% of the time to hear, yeah, but he plays with McDavid. So I don't know. McDavid aside, in your mind, how good is this guy, Troy? How good is Leon?
Oh, I've watching him in person. I've actually seen him in person and on TV. I think he's one of the best. I don't care. I miss me with that McDavid stuff. I think he could totally hold his own without McDavid.
Okay, let's look at his hobby market. So he's a 2014-15 Young Gun, PSA 10 pop 854, 59% gem rate. Sold for $665 US on January 28th. Up about 7% in the past month and up about 12% in the past 3 months. Now, last month, in our top 25 players with the most cards sold rankings, Draisaitl barely made the list, Troy, coming in ranked at number 25, 823 cards sold. He was not ranked the month prior. Very consistently in all of 2023, he was 25th as far as most cards sold per player. So pretty much 25th hobby rank. And then finally, we'll look at the top 5 Leon Draisaitl cards to date. I didn't include like the tandem or shield cards that have like McDavid in them, because then you have to figure out, well, what part of that's McDavid versus Draisaitl. So these are just the Leon Draisaitl solo cards that top 5 sellers. Now, number 5, and we're going to count down from 5 to 1. 2014-15, the Cup red tag rookie auto out of 3 BGS 9 sold for $5,850 US, February 2022. Coming in at number 4, 2014-15, the Cup black shield patch or NHL shield patch 101 BGS 9 sold for $6,300 US in May of 2022. At number 3, 2014-15, the Cup RPA at a 249. So he was a 249 guy, not a 99 guy. $7,000 US in January of 2023. It's amazing that out of 240, it shows you how strong the Cup RPA brand is. It is black NHL Shield patch 101. So for less than out of 249. At number 2 is his 2020 Metal Universe Gold PMG 101. PSA 8 sold for $7,600 December 2021. And then the top Draisaitl sale to date in the secondary markets, 2014-15 Upper Deck Young Guns BGS 10 Pristine Black Label, the sexiest label in the hobby,
Yeah.
Sold for $9,967 US in September of 2021. All right, Trey, that's what I got for our Leon Draisaitl hobby deep dive. Did we learn anything?
Oh yeah, we learned all about his early playing career because we've done Draisaitl a lot. We've talked about him a lot. You've done, I think you did another kind of deep dive once on, I can't remember if it was a weekly preview, but you actually added, I don't think you repeated much of anything from those. So I actually learned a lot about his like early playing career and getting to the NHL.
Like I said, we'll be back next week probably back with rookie deep dive next week as we're sort of on the doorstep of series 2. Speaking of new product releases, Troy, big day today.
Yep.
2023-24 O-Pee-Chee, one of our most favorite products.
Yep.
Hit the shelves at card shops and online retailers. We had the great opportunity to chat with Upper Deck Senior Product Manager Tony Sirianni, who's the product manager for O-Pee-Chee, and get a lot more information about the set. And I always really enjoy kind of hearing the process as to how these sets come to be. And so we're going to go ahead right now and roll our interview with Tony. We are pleased to welcome back Tony Sirianni, Senior Product Manager at Upper Deck, Product Manager for O-Pee-Chee on O-Pee-Chee release day. How's it going, Tony? Welcome back.
Doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me back, guys. Very excited to chat O-Pee-Chee on release day. This has been one we've been waiting for. I'm very excited that you guys finally get to see this one live.
We didn't have a lot of post-recording chit-chat, but we did talk a little bit about the fact, and I had this realization this morning, really today is in earnest the beginning of the Connor Bedard chase, because this is the first day that you can open a pack of hockey cards and pull a Connor Bedard rookie card on the ice in a Chicago Blackhawks uniform. That's not a redemption. That's not in Team Canada necessarily. And so that's kind of a significant moment in the whole, I guess, Bedard thing, huh, Tony?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's an SP1 card that everyone is well aware of now within Upper Deck Series 1, but I, like you, consider this sort of the first true commonly found rookie card from Upper Deck of Connor Bedard. So yeah, we're very pumped. I love the way the card turned out. There's a great picture here of the actual card. But yeah, like you mentioned, this is really the start of things here going forward now. Every 23-24 release, you will find Bedard content. So this is sort of the first product that has a variety of different cards and different chase elements of him, of this, phenom rookie. So yeah, we're very happy and relieved in a way that it's now released and you guys are able to experience it, enjoy the product.
Well, this kid's had so much hype for years that it almost has felt like this time will never come. And we just got the news today that we have in really less than a month Series 2 coming out. And so it's really going to kick into high gear very, very soon. I'm always interested, though, kind of going back to the big picture a little bit. You guys work on these sets so far in advance. So do you remember when you kind of started working on 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee and then maybe finished working on the set?
Yeah, I definitely remember beginning work on it. You got to be going back over a year at this point. But yeah, I knew the importance of it. I knew the rookie class. I knew who we were going to be including. And last year was, sort of the first, adjustment of the schedule. So that you are getting new skating rookies now within O-Pee-Chee. So we knew we were going to have the rookies. We knew it would come out a little later because of that. But yeah, I remember being very excited, knowing the importance of this class, knowing the importance of Bedard's rookie cards and everything involved. So yeah, we did add some new, very rare chase elements with some one-of-ones and some other unannounced stuff, which I'm sure we can talk a little more through today. But yeah, it was one that I knew, would carry a lot of weight. And personally for me, like I've been working on O-Pee-Chee now probably the last 5 years, and I've really grown to love this brand. I personally am not a huge set collector. I'm more of a go find the cards I want, add them to the collection. But working on a set like O-Pee-Chee has really changed my view of things. There's a lot of just, pure collecting involved with this set. It's a massive set. It's 600 card base, 600 retros, the variety of parallels and inserts. So it really goes back to the joy of collecting. You're truly opening these products. You get a nice chunk of cards per pack. You get a nice amount of cards per box. And then really it's up to you then at that point. Do you want to go put those sets together or not, or simply just chase the cards you want? So I think we built a product that has a really nice balance. It feels good if you're still a set collector and you enjoy going to get those master sets. And, you know, I'm envious and both impressed with any collector that will take on that challenge. And every year there are collectors. This is a set that is near and dear, and they will build the master set. So we made sure that was, you know, the integrity of that was still there, but we also knew, you know, there are breakers and there are, you know, those high end, you know, one of one parallel collectors, shiny card, you know, everyone likes shiny foil board cards. Obviously you got the platinum previews in the mix. So we knew there needed to also be some pretty high end, very rare cards of Bedard and Fantilli and Luke Hughes, etc. So yeah, we knew it was, you know, would be a big task, but we're very happy with the way it came out. And again, like I mentioned, working on O-Pee-Chee now for a while, this was actually my swan song on O-Pee-Chee. So next year,
really
24, 25, next year, I passed the baton to Matthew, one of our other product managers, who he understands the importance and he's aware of the lineage of the brand. And I'm very confident he will continue to usher it through with new innovations and obviously still with that set collector mentality in mind. So yeah, it's a special one for me, being Bedard, being a Blackhawks fan, and sort of being the last year that was fully the product manager on the set. So yeah, it has a lot of this one will always have a special place in my heart moving forward.
Well, Troy and I love O-Pee-Chee.
Yeah.
And I think the way that you put it really hit the nail on the head for me personally. And I'm trying to find the most artful way to say this because I don't want it to come up the wrong way. But you know, some of these boxes get really expensive. Right. And there's almost like an inherent pressure that comes with it to hit a card that justifies the cost of the box at time. And what I love about O-Pee-Chee is that the box this year's a little bit of an exception, but generally it's one of the cheaper rips you can get, but it's also not like, you know, maybe for a season collector, like a retail product that there's not really anything interesting. You've got your different colors, you've got your foil boards, you've got your numbered cards. It is a huge set, but it's just fun. And I just have fun every time. And I don't feel that pressure if I'm spending like a tin of the cup, right? It's an amazing product and it's an amazing experience to open it, but you've spent $200 a card essentially by the time you're opening it. And so you do have that, no matter what you where you fall on the spectrum of collector versus investor or flipper or whatnot, there is an intensity that comes with those higher value boxes where Troy and I, like when we've been at the expo or just together, we just get O-Pee-Chee just for fun. It's just so much fun. I don't know. Is that similar to how you feel, Troy?
Oh, 100%. When you first started talking about it, I was going to kind of interrupt and be like, I just got to say, I mean, this is by far, O-Pee-Chee paper is one of my favorite sets. I love all the cards. I know I'm not going to break the bank when I go to the shop, and I can buy more than a couple boxes if I want to. And I actually like the design of the cards. I like the shiny stuff that's been added, all the like parallels, and I got some really cool ones out of my box. And I'm actually a huge fan of the playing cards. I love the playing cards. Like I like getting you can go on eBay and just buy the whole set, and then you have a whole set of playing cards.
Yeah, those are one of my favorite. I got to give credit to Billy. He was really the one who started the O-Pee-Chee playing cards. But I told him, I was like, I promise you those won't go anywhere. And they've really picked up a lot of steam. This is sort of the product now where you go find your hockey playing card set. Yep. So yeah, that's something we're looking into, and I will work closely with Matthew as he takes over this brand. But yeah, that seems like an area where we do have some room to potentially add some new elements or some new, creative spins on those playing cards. So yeah, I think you'll be very excited to see what we do in the coming years. But yeah, those are definitely a mainstay of this product at this point.
Okay, I want to go back to the big picture a little bit. So you said you started working on it a year plus ago.
Yep.
At that time, Bedard was already in the lexicon. He was already coming. People were already talking about it, probably more than you wanted to hear from everyone else. Is there a part of you and everyone else at Upper Deck that, because I imagine it was like a balancing act between how do we make sure that we satisfy the demand for content for this kid within this product, but a lot can happen. He's like 16 years old at the time. And what happens if we design this entire product around a kid and then he's like, nah, I don't want to play hockey anymore, or so, like or God forbid something bad happens or anything like that. So how did you guys sort of balance that whole equation, and not just through O-Pee-Chee, but through all these sets as you've been building them kind of years in advance?
Yeah, I mean, we're always banking on the successes of these rookie classes, right? That's every corner of this sports trading card industry really is.
Sure.
How is this year's rookie class going to hold up? Who's going to excel? Who's going to stand out? And yeah, I mean, we are lucky in the fact that in hockey, the prospecting is elite. They know who the top guys are. Again, like you said, Bedard, they knew he was going to be a top pick 3-4 years ago. It's absolutely crazy, and we're moving into the future, years with the Misas and, all these other names down the road that, again, they're young kids, but there's already all this pressure and hype on them that they're going to be a top draft pick and a franchise player and a superstar in this league moving forward. So, the good news for us is we had some strong holdovers in this one. We've got the Luke Hugheses and obviously some of the newer rookies in there, and the other holdovers with the Coolies and everybody. Like you've got a nice mix. Wolf with the goalie who's been stepping up. Like you've got a nice mix of rookies. So in a different universe, if Bedard didn't come out the gate the way he did and didn't perform and highlight real plays and Michigan goals and all the wild stuff he did in his early part of the season, unfortunately before the injury, who knows where we would be now. But luckily he lived up to the hype. I think he's proven. Oh, I love that one. Yeah, quarter retro. Sorry, that stopped me. That's a beautiful card.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, we're always, you hedge your bets in that sense. It can't just be all on one rookie, but we all know there are years and special players that stand out above the rest. I think this is the case, but it's a really good class around him too. So, we're fortunate that Bedard did perform and has proven that he is the real deal. But other players like Fantilli and some of these guys are also doing really well. So, we do everything we can to build a compelling set despite the rookie class. But as we all know, they do play a big part in it. So good news for us that this year's class has performed, and especially even with Bedard being hurt, he performed extremely well before the injury. You can tell he's chomping at the bit to get back out there. He's in full uniform at All-Star. He wants to get back on the ice, which is great for everybody involved and for the fans. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing with O-Pee-Chee. You have so many different cards and so many different layers to it. With the rookies aren't strong, the patch set's always a big hit. There's collectors that build those logo patch sets year after year, all the different trophy patches. So yeah, I mean, it has been, in years past, this product was even less reliant on rookies, especially when it was like a preseason release. You really only had the holdover. Now that it's moved to sort of a early to mid-year release and we've got time to get the new rookies in there, I think that'll just help the product even more. But, O-Pee-Chee is such a long-standing brand. There's been plenty of years with weaker classes that the product is still a hit. It's still very compelling. But luckily for everyone involved, we've got both of those things going this year. So I think it's going to be a fun one. And I'm glad it's got some breathing room before UD2, because we know that behemoth. We know when that young gun hits, that's going to be the big talk. And that's how this industry works, and we understand that. But yeah, I think it worked out well that O-Pee-Chee is going to have some time for collectors to sort of absorb it and monitor values, find those rare chase cards, and then it'll be time for UD2 before we know it.
Well, that's an interesting point about O-Pee-Chee versus even, of course, the Young Guns are the marquee rookie, part of the pun for O-Pee-Chee there, but those are spread out between 3 releases. You have Series 1, Series 2, and Extended, and O-Pee-Chee paper. Here we get that whole rookie class, the entirety of it now, like you said, that they're actually on ice and in one set. And so that's kind of a neat opportunity, and totally get what you're saying too about the strength of the rookie class. You don't know this yet, but the main theme of our show today is we did a deep dive into the 2022-23 rookie class, and things are not going well this year for that class. And there's nothing you can do about that, right? Because you build these sets, and like you said, you're dependent on sort of the set being good, the card designs being nice, the quality being there, the timeliness of it. But then there's a whole other host of variables that are totally outside of your control.
Yep.
Like, how do these guys perform on the ice, and what happens to them off the ice, even in certain circumstances? And so it's like all that has to happen for a set like this to hit. And we definitely have that, I think, in the case of O-Pee-Chee, where there's a number of these guys that are really excelling so far this season. Then going back to Bedard, hasn't played in a month, and he's still leading the all rookies in scoring. So that's probably
every time you say Bedard, for our YouTube people, I'm gonna try to find a different picture of him.
I love the 3Ds. Yeah, the 3D cards, the lenticulars. These are beautiful. Looks great.
Oh, they're amazing. That's my favorite card in the set, and my dream is hit pretty tough odds though. I think like 1 in 864 packs or something like that.
Yeah, they're tough. Yeah, they're definitely tough hits.
I was to say I hit my card, the biggest card I was looking for. I hit him right there. I got the buoy.
Yes, the Joker buoy. I love it. You got to have your Jokers for your playing card set. You got to. Absolutely.
Okay, I want to talk about the design, Tony, a little bit. So, is there like when you go into designing 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee, is there like a design framework that you go off of, where we kind of have and any O-Pee-Chee set's going to have these characteristics to it, or this sort of look and feel?
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, one thing we do keep in mind now as we build it out is we tell the design team, and they're well aware of it, is basically what you're going to build for O-Pee-Chee paper is going to transfer over to O-Pee-Chee Platinum. So we do want something that translates very well on the paper stock like it does, but we also want the cards to really pop when we go on to Platinum. For like this year, I can't wait to see the retro design on Platinum. I think those cards are going to be so beautiful with the etching and the chromium stock and the parallels involved. I think I can't wait to see that finished card. Exactly.
Those are going to look sweet.
Love those cards. Yeah, very retro feel, and sort of a tannish, like almost like caramel, light tan color back. Like those cards are going to look great on chromium stock. Though, imagine that card all silver chrome platinum stock. It's going to be.
I know.
I think they look very beautiful. So that's one thing we keep in mind. I
was show this one too. Like this one just is so cool looking.
I love the black borders. Yeah. I also love to see black borders that don't chip. So yes, we were very happy with the way these turned out. Yeah.
I know. So is there a little different? Is it the same stock? Because I thought it might have been they looked a little sturdier.
It is a little different stock. That's good. Yeah. I mean, you guys have seen enough cards to, when you got that eye for it and the feel, you can tell that, the standard base and the retro is a different card. To help differentiate. Cool. The back should feel a little different.
Yep, they for sure.
Got the white back versus the brown clay coat back on the retro. Yep, exactly.
It's like a bag.
So yeah, gives a little. And again, we did that too with the O-Pee-Chee Premier cards. We wanted those to have a more elevated high end look. So you've got full UV deco foil. Almost feels more like exactly. Yep. So we've got variety of cards to sort of cater to whatever your specific taste is, if you will. But yeah, Bedard's in all three of those too. So really that's a big part when we do design this product. We do think about the platinum version that'll be coming later, but we also do try to keep with the legacy of the brand, right? I mean, it is a large set collector set, obviously dating all the way back to the 1930s. This is the longest standing hockey brand out there. So we try to be delicate. I think this year's base is pretty modernized. I think that was intentional, but that is another reason where we wanted that retro card to still have that sort of a vintage feel. And I think we've pulled that off. I think it feels sort of like a 70s, 80s card, early 80s, 70s.
Exactly.
So yeah, we try to keep all that in mind when we're building it out.
And then with platinum, I do have one little checklist question because you have obviously the platinum previews that
Yep.
comes. You get a sense of what those look like. I
Mm-hmm.
pulled the blue tracks, and it was the color is amazing,
Great.
especially on them. It's a little hard to tell because with the base platinum because you just have that standard chromium finish. But
Yep.
really excited about those. So there were 8 players, I believe, on the platinum preview checklist. How do you guys settle on 8, and how do you pick who those are going to be?
Yeah, that is that's a really tough checklist for our coordinator team to build, and I give props to them. I thought we packed out 9 subjects, but maybe it was 8. But
No, I just
essentially,
can't count. It's 9. You're right.
okay, cool. I thought it was 9. Yeah, long story short, that was intended as a 10-card checklist, but there was one skating rookie on there who didn't skate. So as you know, as our NHL rules, we abide by. If a player hasn't skated in a game, we cannot issue their rookie card until that time. So that checklist was built earlier than anything else in this product, and we still managed to hit on 4 rookies, probably a year before they would be. We call them dart throws, like literally throwing darts at a board with our coordinator team. Those guys know hockey in and out. They're looking at, okay, I'm pretty confident that a year from now, these guys are going to skate. These guys are going to be in there.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we put superstars in there to hedge our bets, and we know people want cards of McDavid and Matthews, Ovi, those kind of guys. So we usually split that checklist. If you'll notice, it'll be like 5 stars and up to 5 rookies. And there's always room for change as we move forward in the future iterations of the set. But yeah, I was very impressed when I saw 9. When we were able to pack out. And again, I'm sure there'll be questions. Why is Bedard in Team Canada?
I have a theory.
Timing. Yep.
Oh, can I tell you my theory?
What's your theory? Let's hear it.
Well, I just figured that you didn't want to steal thunder from the platinum release.
That's a good theory, and that was one reason why we were okay with him being in Team Canada, because we do want the cards of him and the Blackhawks to really stand on their own. We can go with that. I like that theory.
Okay. That was the real reason, though.
I like that. Like you probably heard us all say, it's a timing thing, and just how early those cards had to go to get created and get printed and be available for pack out. That was the reasoning for him to being in Team Canada there. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense in the context of the wood variation too, because so I'm assuming that one needs to go sooner to production than the other ones as well.
Exactly right. And we discussed that internally quite a bit. Is it worth putting him in Team Canada? Have collectors seen too much of him in Team Canada? At the end of the day, the decision was you either get him in there in Team Canada or you don't get him in there at all. And that was an easy decision for us, because we want you guys to have as much content of him as we could, especially in some of those key cards like the Woodies or the Platinum Preview cards. So that's really the reason why. But hopefully you guys agree with that decision. But it would seem like a miss if he wasn't on those. It wasn't in those sets at all.
Okay, I actually want to step back a little bit more towards a bigger picture question and talk about just the scope and size of the checklist for O-Pee-Chee.
Yep.
So it's a 600 card base set. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
What does that mean?
Base set we do all year. Yep.
Do like equipment managers get cards, or does anyone that
we probably could start including them? Some collectors might enjoy getting some of those cards, but it's really it's really our chance to deep dive on every roster, right? I mean, all 32 teams are very heavily included. I think every team should have at least 6 or 7 cards per team in the set, and we do that intentionally. Again, with being a master set, collector set, being the biggest base set we do all year, like it makes sense to honor those guys and to get guys third liners, fourth liners. Maybe one day equipment guys or emergency backup goalies, as we've
all
we've
e-bugs
years.
I've been calling for e-bug cards forever.
So yeah, you never know. There's always some fun we can have with that. But yeah, it's again, I give a lot of credit to the coordinator team that builds out these lists. I know the past few years that's been Tommy. He's done an incredible job. But yeah, I mean, you ask these guys, yeah, we need a 200 card base set. That's that's like a easy street compared to when they have to do an O-Pee-Chee checklist. But again, these guys know hockey. They know the players that you guys are looking for. And again, fan favorites, some of the sort of deeper line guys that might not get honored in like a UD1 or 2. Obviously, extended helps that with getting some more guys in there. But yeah, it's important for us to honor as many players in the league as we can within this product.
Who has to approve the design of every card?
Myself.
I assume somebody does.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like we work as a team, but really the designers, we collaborate with them on our product development team. But at the end of the day, Grant and myself have to sign off on every design, or whoever the product manager is, whether it's Billy, Matthew, etc. We work with Grant to make sure the designs are where we are all happy with them.
Must take a minute for this set then, huh?
Oh yes. Yeah. Design review is a big part of our job day to day. We there might be some weeks you review 10, 20 designs. There might be other weeks you may only look at 2 or 3. Just depends again on the workflow, where we're at in the process. But yeah, design reviews is a big part of it, and we take it very seriously. I think we've got the best designers in the industry, if you ask me, and they care, they're passionate, they know what they're doing. They've built these cards, and even like this year was a newer designer, and I thought she did an incredible job. I thought Shelly did an incredible job on this set. She worked on that retro set, and I remember a lot of back and forth emails between myself and Grant and the designer, sort of just refining that card, getting it just right. And I'm sure it drives them a little crazy, but I know that when, even seeing her open the cards and experiencing it and seeing how nice everything turned out, you could tell that it's worth it. So we try to collaborate and give them some freedom to build what they want. But at the end of the day, we definitely provide feedback and, sort of give our sign off, if you will, before we proceed.
To me, the big design test, and Troy's already shown a couple, when it comes to O-Pee-Chee, is the black border cards. If those cards really pop, then the design is really, really good. And this year they're pretty fantastic. Now you had run through product. Oh, there's Connor Bedard again.
I love that. I love it. It's got like a watermelon color scheme.
Yeah.
That was what my mind went. I'm like, that looks so cool. I love that. It's like different. Never seen anything like that before. And yeah, I thought it turned out fantastic. And I love to see a pure black border, no white, no chipping.
Yeah.
I know everyone loves to grade everything now. So I think this product is condition wise is pretty strong. I think you'll get some high grades on this one.
Heard from a number of breakers today, and they said that the QC is really good on it.
Great.
You mentioned a couple of other product. Yeah, that is good. A couple other product managers, and you didn't mention Pat. Do you know the whole Party Time Pat thing?
Oh yeah, I sit right by Party Time Pat. Yeah, I know you guys have been having him now. He's a great guy. Loves.
Well, he had that parallel in Artifacts called Party Time. So now we just call him, we're trying to make Party Time Pat a thing.
Yeah, and again, that's another good example. I worked on Artifacts for years, and I passed that one on to Pat, and he's done incredible stuff with it. I loved this year's Artifacts. I think he did an amazing job with it. Some of the unique stuff, and Party Time. Like he did credentials that came out a few weeks ago. I thought that definitely had some of his unique touches in there. I love those. His blacklight poster cards, the live tonight cards, and credentials. He's got some really creative, innovative ideas. So I think Party Time Pat is a good one for sure.
That would make me happy if that really became a thing. Okay, so
Absolutely.
Back to O-Pee-Chee a little bit. What other cards did you really enjoy, or are your favorites from, whether they're inserts or parallels or anything like that, from 2023-24 O-Pee-Chee?
I really loved it, and I didn't know. Again, we don't always get to see how everything's going to look finished, but I loved the diamond parallels of the Premier cards. I thought those look incredible. The ones that are numbered to 75. I don't know if you guys have seen those yet.
I don't think so.
Beautiful cards.
Is this one here?
Yeah, O-Pee-Chee Premier Diamond Parallel. It's numbered to 75. They pop really nice.
Is this one? Is this Kaprizov one?
Yeah, that looks like a mock-up. And you hear us say
this is from the sell
time.
sheet or the sell sheet.
Yeah. We always say it doesn't do the card justice. Like,
yeah,
go on eBay, or as you guys are opening the product, I'm sure you're going to find a few. But I love the way those turned out. And we already talked about the retros. Super, super happy with the way those turned out. Trying to think what other stuff. 3Ds we looked at. The Bounty Award cards look really nice. I've seen those. Obviously, you guys have seen some of those designs now. There's a few people that have already done the Bounty. And those cards are now starting to pop up. So you can see the Bounty, which I can now say is Connor Bedard. He is the Bounty subject. So, upperdeckbounty.com. Please make sure you check that one out. If you pull any of those puzzle pieces, there are some pretty awesome cards of Connor Bedard that are available. So please check that one out, everybody.
Troy pulled the puzzle today and listed. How long did it take how long was it on eBay before it sold, Troy?
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Like
nice.
I knew they were going, or Josh actually told me that they're flying off, and I will I don't have the time or the patience to put together it. So I listed it and boom, 5 minutes it was sold for a really good price. We'll just say that.
That's great. Now, that's good to hear.
We did hear, Tony, from a couple of people that there might have been a couple, maybe a little hiccups with the Bounty website this morning. Do you know what happened there and kind of what's
I'm not sure of the details, but we are aware of it, and we are working with our partners at ComC. I promise you, everyone's going to get the cards they're promised to get. There's I think it might be something with a placeholder image that they're trying to get uploaded, but yeah, they are aware of it, and I can assure you all that everything is good. Even if it's not showing, I promise everyone's going to get their cards. And hopefully it will hopefully be rectified here in the next day or less, that you guys will see them in your account. But yeah, I do assure anyone who's done it, you will get the cards you're promised.
We've both been really busy today. Are there Easter eggs in this product, and have they come out or been announced? Or
well, we always got to put Easter eggs, especially in O-Pee-Chee. So I mean, one of the ones we like to give you guys a little bit of a challenge to go find some of the photo variants. So we'll give you a little tip this year on our photo variant cards. The top border of the card is a little different. So if you're looking through a stack of your base cards, the top border near like sort of the left side where you see the O-Pee-Chee logo, that border design is a little different. The color scheme, like there's an example of a Caulfield portrait crop variant.
Yeah,
but like the lines like directly to the right of the O-Pee-Chee, the gray and black bars you see in that frame, they're a little different from the base version. So if you're you got a handful of cards and you look through them all, or you compare it to a standard base, you will see the difference. But I can tell you guys that this year there are 100 different photo variants with different themes. So you've got your portrait crop. We have pre-game warm-up jerseys. So that gets, again, your very colorful, beautiful theme jerseys for different, themes of that night or different causes that the team, they're a perfect example. Yeah, exactly. Like a military appreciation, Brady card there. We also have our black and white test proofs, which are sort of a callback to sort of retro black and white test proof cards. Those are super rare. So yeah, there's some really fun stuff in there for you guys to find. And other unannounced, I mean, you guys have already, I think we talked about it prior to jumping on, but the Woodies, we brought back the wood variant cards, which I think they're the best ones I've ever seen us, like the look and feel.
This is a bad picture. This is a bad picture on YouTube if you're seeing it, but this was
this is another one. Like if you get one of these cards in hand, like the feel of the card, the everything, it's beautiful. And we added
a cherry parallel, right?
Yeah, so we added a new layer into it. That was my next one. So we put a cherry wood variant, which has a darker red look to it. Will look very different if you see. Yeah, exactly. Like they stand out. They're it's not a subtle change. It's a very dark red, and those are even more rare than the standard wood cards. So, I'm very proud of these. These are right up there as far as finished cards and how they look. Like these are right up there as far as I think some of the best looking we've ever done. And again, when you guys get them in hand, I think you'll agree they've a very nice feel to them. They're substantial. The printing is clean. The wood texture we put on them you feel it. It feels like a wood card. So I think those are going to be. There he is. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, another one we mentioned, like the Team Canada. Yeah, exactly. A reason he's better to have him in there in Team Canada than not have him at all. At least that was our thought.
So on a day like today, what do you do to kind of get a sense of how the hobby is responding to the set? Do you go watch any breakers? Do you look at eBay sales? Kind of how do you approach it?
I started looking at eBay last night because I know some of those midnight guys out there start to breaking cards and they get their cases early. So I started looking at eBay last night. Actually was texting with Grant a little bit. And then, today, basically since I've come in, it's been a busy day from a meeting perspective, but in between meetings, I'm checking eBay, checking the boards, looking on social, seeing what people are thinking about the product. Tonight, I'll have some time. I'll go on and watch some breaks. Hopefully I can catch some people breaking it live and sort of join the streams and chat with those guys. But it's always a little extra, busy, but it's a good busy. It's good to be, having this out and seeing how it's performing. So it's something we all look forward to, and I'll be doing that for the next couple of weeks. This weekend, weekend after a break is usually a big one after release. The weekend, there's a lot of people that have to visit hobby shops and have some time off of work. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it for the foreseeable future for sure.
I was going to say pricing looks pretty strong, just right off the bat. And then I found this. I just got to show it. This
nice
seismic gold Bedard.
Beautiful card.
Is that on eBay, Troy?
Yeah, it's on eBay.
What are they asking for that?
This one they would like. Oh, it's sold best offer $1,500. I'm on this again. This isn't Terra Peak, so take that with a grain of salt. So who knows? Probably between $1,000 and $1,500, we'll say.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure there's been quite a bit that's been listed and sold even in the last few hours. Last number I heard was something like 41,000 cards have been posted or something to this product, and that's probably gone up since I heard that number. Yeah,
and eBay, I'll say this, was having some issues when I was on there earlier, and I was wondering if I know eBay's huge and they have all this stuff, but I was wondering if all the people are hammering it for hockey cards trying to get Bedard.
I would love to crash eBay on a hockey card release day. That would be amazing. Do. I'm sure eBay would. The collectors probably don't want to hear that, but that would be memorable for sure. If we could do that. So who knows? UD2. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, they might come close.
Right.
Well, I want to ask you a few questions before we let you go about kind of other sets upcoming. But do you have anything else, Troy, about O-Pee-Chee or Tony? Anything else you want to throw in there about O-Pee-Chee before we move on quickly?
I mean, I can go quick. Nothing that I want to add. I will say I've opened one box. It's made me want to go buy about 5 more boxes. So I love O-Pee-Chee paper. I've said that. I will scream that to the heavens. I love the look of the cards. I love the price point. Obviously, this one's going to be a little bit more spendy that we've seen because of Bedard probably, but I still love the rip. It's great for kids. It's one of those that you can open with your dad or your mom or your family. I love O-Pee-Chee paper. So I think it's great. I think they look cool. I love the retros. Like you mentioned, the total 70s thing. Mm-hmm. It reminds me, there was a Park and Rec episode where they redesigned the Parks and Rec logo to look 70s, and it kind of looks like this a little bit. And I love that. So
I love Parks and Rec. It's incredible. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Troy.
I just love the set. Great job. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you again. I hope everyone enjoys it. And then again, like you said, it just brings you back to that pure collecting, like you said, right? Like, and again, we know this is an expensive hobby. We know there's a lot of whales. There's a lot of very, very wealthy, very, big budget collectors, but there needs to be something for everybody. And I think this product is a great way to get cards into the hands of everybody. And there are some really big cards you can pull in the mix too. So, I appreciate those kind words, and I agree with all of that. I think the sentiment is definitely a pure collector set. But it does have some bells and whistles and some flashy cards to keep the more modern sort of super rare chase collector engaged as well.
We got an email from your marketing team today that they send pretty regularly with sort of an updated release calendar and subject to change a little bit.
Yep.
Totally understand that. But it sounds like that you guys have Clear Cut coming out scheduled on Valentine's Day. And then there's a box set after that. But then really at the end of the month starts kind of a crazy, I would say even epic 3-week run of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, then Series 2, and then the long-awaited Parker's Champions after that. So I know Platinum is yours, but is Clear Cut your set too?
That one is not, no.
Okay.
Yeah, and keep in mind that is going to be a 22-23 Platinum,
Dual
right?
release.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're still trying to get caught up. We're getting there, but yeah, I'll be curious to see how that one does. I mean, I'm happy with the product. I think the cards turned out great. I know there were some condition issues with 21-22 from a centering perspective, a lot of off-center cards, and from
Can
what
I
I'm
ask you about that
aware,
real quick, Tony? Because that's when we threw out to our Discord and everyone else. The number one question is that we got was to ask you is, will the centering be better? And like, what did you guys do to address those centering issues with the last release for 2022-23?
Yeah, I mean, we were very disappointed to see that. We discussed it extensively with our operations team and the print vendors involved, and everything I've been told is that yes, that will not happen again. They know that really hurt that product, being late, condition issues. It's fighting an uphill battle. We know that it doesn't need to deal with things like that on top of the lateness. So I'm confident that the one you guys see here within the next month is in a lot better shape.
Oh, that's great. So then as far as stuff that you've worked on personally beyond Platinum, what else is coming a little bit farther down the road for you?
I'm trying to think. Well, it's funny, in the world of Platinum, we're going to have a Marvel Platinum product coming out in about a month. And
Hold on. I got to write that down.
Troy just had a heart attack.
I love
a second to catch his breath.
Yeah, Marvel Platinum will be a big one.
Marvel Allure was this year, and I love that. And now, so there's going to be a Platinum.
This one's going to be a publishing based. So this will be all comic art, but with Chromium Platinum stock. We are very excited for that one. That's going to be a fun break too. I'm happy to, I know you guys are hockey guys, but I know Troy likes to dabble. If you ever want to chat about that, happy to do so. But that'll be a big one on the on the non-sport side that I'm excited to see. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming in the next couple months, like you mentioned, all the way up through like UD2. But Black Diamond with Bedard will be right around the corner. Trying to think what other products. Probably have a couple more of like sort of those mid-year releases, like a Synergy, couple other ones like that I can think of. But yeah, as far as ones I'm working on that I know will be coming here sooner than later, like a Black Diamond, Marvel Platinum. We just had Goodwin release a few weeks back, 23 Goodwin. That was one of mine. So we're pushing on 24 to get that one out here, hopefully by summertime, late summer. But yeah, those are some of the ones that come to mind. But there's a lot of stuff coming, and as we're digging out of being behind, obviously, as you are aware, we've got 22-23 SP Authentic out. We're gonna have Platinum out. You'll start seeing the super premiums coming out, and then hopefully after that it'll be clear sailing with all 23-24 stuff for you guys. So next 2, 3, 4 months, you guys are going to see quite a bit of fun new things coming out.
Well, that sounds awesome. Hey, we really, really appreciate you joining us. A very busy O-Pee-Chee release day. We both really love it and have enjoyed it, and we'll buy many more boxes to come in the future. So again, Troy already said it, but just for me, great job on this.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that. And we know that we always appreciate listening to you guys, try to listen to every show. And, we know everything isn't perfect. We know there's some room for improvement. But I do appreciate the kind words on this one, and we'll continue to do everything we can to keep getting better.
Well, I'm gonna give an update here, Josh. We said we want to buy more boxes. We better hope our local card shop has them, because everywhere they're sold out online. Blowout, Steel City,
Wow.
David Adams, Clouds and Chara for our Canadian people.
Wow.
They're all sold out.
O-Pee-Chee paper, Tony.
Oh, yeah. When did you think that would happen?
The new black is O-Pee-Chee paper.
All
Who would
right,
have ever thought
guys.
that?
No, I love to hear that. I wasn't aware of that, so that's good to hear. But hopefully they'll get their reorders and get restocked up for you guys. And this is a retail brand too, so you can go find your Bedard rookies in retail. Those will be out sooner than later. So you always have that route too.
Oh, they're out today. They had blasters at the
good.
card shop.
Good. Yeah, we never know if sometimes those will come a little after hobby. So that's good to hear. Those are already out for everybody. That's great. Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon, Tony. Thank you again.
Thanks again, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We're back, Troy. We got to give Tony again a lot of thanks for taking time out of course, a very busy day for him to join the show. I thought a lot of really good information. Did you?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I actually love talking to Tony. He always has really good information. And as you notice, if you listen to the interview, we didn't go into a whole checklist overview. We already did that. Josh did last episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes ago. Yeah, did a whole deep dive on the checklist itself. So we got a little more information around the set building and some thoughts there. But we also talked about the checklist a little bit, showed off some cards. Really good conversation.
Love to have Upper Deck on. It's always good to hear it right from the source, right?
Yep.
As they say. Now, Troy, are you ready for new releases insanity? So
I'm ready.
Just happened to get an email today from Upper Deck that has the next month of releases sort of laid out. Now, you have to say too, it once they send the email, it's pretty close to these dates. It might move from a Wednesday to a Friday, so nothing is like carved in stone as of yet, but we're still anticipating on Valentine's Day to have 2022-23 clear cut out. Then about 4 days later, the 23-24 star rookie box set, which I have no interest in personally, but I'm gonna just be fascinated to see because of the Bedard factor how much of that sells. And then it's scheduled on February 18th. Then starting February 28th, I can't remember a 3-week stretch like this. This is going to be nutty. You have 2022-23, so again, not the greatest rookie class, but O-Pee-Chee Platinum. Easily one of the best sets of the year, one of the more anticipated sets of the year. We just heard Tony say that they think they figured out the QC issues from last year, so that's very good news. And that's coming on February 28th. Then a week later, Series 2. It actually is here. We have like a date. March 6th, we should have about 700 million Connor Bedard Young Guns for $33,000 a piece for sale on eBay. That is less than a month. And if your head hasn't exploded, then just a week after that, the much anticipated by many 2022-23 Parker's Champions will be out as well.
Yep.
So Troy, by the middle of March, the hobby's going to be broke.
Yep. No one's gonna have any money left. And like personally, I'm most excited about Parker's Champions from a personal standpoint, but from a hobby standpoint, obviously Series 2 is the big dog. And even O-Pee-Chee Platinum will be interesting to watch too.
Yep. O-Pee-Chee Platinum is always great. And as long as the quality is there, I think there'll be a lot of interest. So it's going to get nutty within the next month in the hockey hobby. Well, Troy, PWCC is a Gongshow partner and sponsor. Of course, we're very grateful to them for their support of the show. The February premiere auction begins tonight. We're recording this the day of, and it'll be the morning of, so I probably can't say it, but there's a huge hockey card in it. Can't wait for everyone to see it. We'll chat more about it on Monday show. Yeah. But make sure you go to PWCC Marketplace.com for a link to the auction there. But we're more of the weekly auction speed, Troy. And of course, the current weekly auction is live. And like we do on every Thursday show, we picked out our favorite vintage modern cards to highlight. We're going to start with our favorite vintage cards. One quick note, too. There's no YouTube show with me and Jeremy Lee. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and we both want to watch the Super Bowl. So we're going to do that. But let's get on to vintage cards. So I had first pick.
All right.
And I picked a 1989 Top Stickers Wayne Gretzky number 11 PSA 10. Now, there's been a little bit of like relevant sticker talk lately on our show because as we've reviewed the grading reports the last few months and looked at PSA in particular, one of the top 10 sports cards, which isn't a card but a sticker, has been the tops now Connor Bedard sticker. 2 months in a row, it's been in the top 10. So when I saw the sticker from 1989, had to learn more. I knew nothing about these, and it kind of boggles my mind. And I don't. Do you remember these? Because I feel like I opened a lot of 1989 tops, and then I'm like, oh, is this like its own unique set, or where was? And then I read last night or the night before that there was one sticker in every pack of 1989 tops. And I
Yeah,
don't remember that.
So I don't remember it. I do remember the stickers that were in the mid 80s. I want to say like 84, 85 stickers. I remember those for sure. I remember when there was the team logo stickers in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
I literally have some right behind me. And
remember that what baseball was that 87 tops or whatever, where you know what I'm saying, like the little circle stickers of.
And Fleer, I think, had stickers too. If
Fleer,
I remember right. Yeah.
Well, this sticker, as Gretzky, he must have been pretty fresh with the Kings, of course, because he was trading in 89, the end of 88 season. So he's in his Kings uniform. I think it's a pretty cool card. Or sticker. I always say card, but I should probably say sticker. It's looks really nice. I kind of like it. And really, other than box bottoms, was the only quote unquote like insert in the 89 tops set. I must have been on drugs because honestly, I don't remember this. But I think if you're a Gretzky collector, a piece like this would be kind of a cool, fun addition to your collection. They don't sell for a ton of money. All-time high sale for 1989 tops Wayne Gretzky sticker PSA 10, 228 February 2021. Oh, did I mention the pop count? I never looked.
I don't think so.
Oh, pop 65.
Okay,
20% gem rate. So again, not a big pop. 228 all-time high February 2021. Also, the last time it was sold. I don't know. Are you a fan of these? Do you like this, or do you think it's dumb?
No, I'm fine with them. Stickers have a special place, kind of because they bring me back to like the mid 80s when I was ripping cards as a little kid. But I don't collect them at all. The only ones I have are the ones that I've kept since I was a kid.
It's got our downward sloping NHL crest there.
Like that. I like the orange and black, old school.
All right, what's the current bid?
Current bid is $38 US.
You got the next vintage card in this week's PWCC Weekly.
I do, and I forgot to totally Gongshow. I forgot to look up how to say this man's last name, so I'm going to butcher it. I apologize, but I am looking up a 1952 Parkhurst Marcel. Is it Pronovost? Pronovost. I apologize. I didn't look him up and see how to say that. So if I butcher it, shame on me because he's a great NHL legend. It's a PSA 6 card number 61 from 19.
Can I just say that there's nothing you could do pronunciation-wise to top the dumpster fire I've been tonight? So
yeah, it's a rough night. It's late. It's all right. We're to keep it going. It's a long show. Could this be our first one? No, it won't. I was gonna say, could it be 3 hours? But it won't be. I don't think.
I think we used to have 3-hour shows like a year.
Oh, did we?
I think so.
Oh, we were crazy, I guess. We've got more concise. So again, all right, 52 Parkers, Marcel Pronovost is what I'm going to go with. And again, it's a Parker's card. I say this all the time. It's Parker's card, and it's a guy I've never really learned about or don't know his history. So I love looking at cards like this. And again, I'm not going to go over the 52 Parkers set. We did the masterclass with Jeremy. Actually, Jeremy Lee did the masterclass on our show about the Parkhurst run. It's episode 51. If you have any interest in Parkhurst, listen to that. He gives a ton of awesome information. So we'll start with the card itself, Josh. PSA 6. And just first glance, you look at this card, it looks really, really nice. It looks super nice. Color looks great. I love these pictures on these cards. The edges and corners, really nice given the age. I mean, if I zoom in, this is an old card. And these edges and corners look really, really good for being this old. Very sharp, very, very good looking. The only knock on the card from me, obviously, is there's some centering. You can see left to right's off, top to bottom's also off. There's some registration. Is this registration up here, Josh? Where I got some yellowing? Kind of looks like the printing plate might have missed. And then also, you'll see on the right-hand side, this card, it kind of looks like faded, but I went and looked up 50 other Marcel Pronovos 52 Parkies. They all have this. So this was part of the run. So this, I don't know if that affects it. I don't know how they view that when it's like the dot on Gretzky's rookie card, his shoulder, the O-Pee-Chee. They probably, it's part of the, just what every card has it if it's legit.
If you look at 50, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're probably the world's leading 1952 Parkers, Marcel Pronovos, right edge expert in the hobby
fading here or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if it's fading. I don't know if it's something with the printing because a lot of have it. I shouldn't say every single card has it, but everyone I looked at did. So there is that. So that's just something to be aware of if this card interests you. Now let's look at the player himself. And I loved reading about this guy. This is where I just hang my head in shame for not knowing a lot about him. He's a defenseman. And oh boy, Josh, here we go. Lacte. Now it looks like torture, but it's Tortue. Tortue. Lac de Tortue, Quebec. There you go. There you go. All my French speakers, you could email Josh and tell him that
the show has officially become a train wreck.
Yeah, it's a train wreck. But like our boy,
our worst nightmares come true.
Yeah, our boy, Marcel Pronovos, Hall of Famer, 5-time Cup winner, 2-time NHL First Team All-Star, 2-time NHL Second Team All-Star, 11-time NHL All-Star Game participant. He played 20 seasons in the NHL. First 15 seasons with Detroit, last 5 with Toronto. 88 goals, 257 assists for 345 points in 1,206 games played. He was one of the top.
This is where I totally agree with you. And we've both had many of these moments on the show doing this segment. We'll see an old card. We'll see a guy with a name we can't even say. And we're like, oh, that's kind of a neat card. I wonder if he was any good. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's probably one of the best players of all time. I'm an idiot.
Yep, exactly. That's how I felt when I was researching this. He's one of the top defensemen of his era. He was known as an offensive defenseman. He played an aggressive rushing style that led Red Wings fans to call him Detroit's own Flying Frenchman. I love it. Love fun nicknames like that. After retiring, he went into coaching and was the head coach of the Buffalo Sabres for 2 seasons in the late 70s. He then went into scouting and was part of the scouting department when New Jersey won the Cup in 2003. Fun fact, Josh, his 53 years between winning the Stanley Cup as a player and then winning the Cup as a scout for the Devils is the longest span in NHL history.
Wow. That's
there you go. And again, I say when I gave his like little stat line, it's 5-time Cup winner. I'm not sure if that included the Devils win as a scout, but again, I thought that was a little fun fact. Love that. Again, you look at these cards. I love doing these little mini bios. You learn about players, like we said. Great player. I am almost criminally shocked at what this card will go for. So it's a PSA 6, has a pop of 14. There's 73 graded copies total at PSA, with 32 graded higher than a PSA 6. The last PSA 6 sale was $74.40 US on October 22nd of 2023 via the PWCC Weekly Auction. It was not the same card, though. So this one is a different PSA 6 copy. Current bid right now is $10 US.
Wow. Played in Gordie Howe's shadow, I guess, Troy.
I guess. Awesome player. Loved looking him up. Boy, if this stays super cheap, I wouldn't mind having this thing. It's in the old PSA holder if you look at YouTube. Let's see it. So that probably hurts it a little bit.
All right, the last vintage card we're going to look at is a 1981 Topps Jerry Curry.
At least we know this one.
Jerry Curry.
Yeah.
Stop it. Can't make fun of yourself. I don't even know how to finish that. So out of it. Big fan of the Jari Curry rookie card. Hope someday to have a nice copy of it. I actually don't care whether it's Topps or O-Pee-Chee. And then I think when we have the opportunity to look at cards like this, it's fun for me, Troy, to do the Topps versus O-Pee-Chee comparison. Yeah. Often there's a pretty good deal to be had if you're willing to go the Topps route. So I wanted to see if that exists for this card too.
Do you remember? Do you remember on this card? Do the tops always have the better coloring, or am I just making that up?
In the Gretzky rookie, that's
Okay,
definitely
so
the
that's a
case.
Gretzky. So it might not be this. Okay,
I don't know in the case of 1981.
coloring looks
Good
great.
question.
I mean, I just looking at this
Oh,
card
yeah.
looks fantastic.
The pop count for the Topps PSA 10 is 180, 10.1% gem rate. So 1,781 total cards graded by PSA. Now, if you compare the pop count to the O-Pee-Chee version of the card, the O-Pee-Chee has a PSA 10 pop count of just 32. So a lot less than Topps.
Mm-hmm.
And a 2.9% gem rate. Pretty substantial difference there. But in the context of today's Young Guns, a pop 180 rookie is like nothing. And remember, he's got two. He's got the Topps version and the O-Pee-Chee version. Well, Troy, we just did Hobby Deep Dive on Leon Draisaitl, of course, known as Connor McDavid's sidekick. Probably would say the same for Jari Kurri, who's often referred to as Gretzky's sidekick. But just like Leon, it may be a sidekick, sure, but Kurri was definitely not a slouch. In an 18-year career, playing for Edmonton, the LA Kings, New York Rangers, Ducks, and Avalanche, he put together or amassed 601 goals, 797 assists for 1,398 points. As of today, Jari Kurri is ranked 23rd all time in points and 20th in goals. And of course, that makes him only one of 20 players ever to score 600 or more goals in the NHL. Now, getting back to his connection with the great one, Gretzky, Troy, this is kind of amazing. Assisted on 364 of Jari Kurri's 601 career
So
goals.
more than half. That's crazy.
That's great. In turn, Kurri assisted on 194 of Gretzky's, 894 then? Total career goals?
Sounds right. It's 890 something.
Jari Kurri is a 5-time Stanley Cup champion, even won one in Edmonton without Gretzky in 1990 after Wayne was traded to the LA Kings. And I think here's a kind of a good measure. We talk about Draisaitl, if he was ever away from McDavid. In the 2 years in Edmonton after Gretzky was traded, Kurri still recorded 195 points in 154 games played. Pretty good. All-time high sale for 1981 Topps, Jari Kurri rookie PSA 10, 2,500 from the PWCC Vault in February 2021. Last sale, Troy, $157.
Wow.
February 4th.
Wow.
The 23rd most points ever. A 5-time Stanley Cup champion. $157. Pop 180. What a great card, though. Just a great card to have in your collection. Who cares about the market? Be damned, I guess. Going up. We're going to switch to modern.
$60 US.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Trim bet. I blew it. Blew my shot, Troy. Now we're going to switch to modern. This card, speaking of blowing my mind, actually, I got to give Jeremy Lee the apple on this one. He showed this to me after our PWCC Weekly YouTube show last Sunday night. It's a wild card. It's a dual-sided patch card for Crosby and Ovechkin. A rookie year card, Troy, but not a true rookie. You've learned that, right?
Yep.
But true rookie, schmoo rookie. A rookie, the Cup, Crosby, and Ovechkin dual patch is kind of a big deal. Out of 10, 2, and they're game-used patches.
Wow.
Now, Troy, you are a card back aficionado, so this should be like your hobby dream right here. Sidney Crosby got the top billing in the front of the card treatment.
Yeah.
He's the headline act, I guess. Now, the patch windows on the Crosby, you got to go back to the Crosby.
Yeah.
Okay. Are like an 8 and a 7, right? 2-color patch on the 8 with your favorite loose string, which is my OCD nightmare. You like the loose string in the patch.
I love the loose string.
And then the right window, or kind of the 7 patch window, has a 3-color 4-break. Pretty awesome patch. Then, Troy, we go to the back of the card. Now, Ovi has to share real estate with all like the legalese and the, hey, this is a game use patch and copyright and all that good stuff. But where I was like kind of laughing is the patch window.
Yeah.
He's number 8. I stared at this, I'm like, what the heck is this? And it finally hit me that they took like an 8 and they elongated it so it looks like a weird, like boxy butterfly, and then put a divider down the middle
Yeah.
I think that's technically supposed to be a number 8.
Maybe. I thought it was like an 8 and another 8, but then he's not 88.
No.
So it's big 8. We'll go with that.
Really intricate, cool patches on the Ovi part. Now, should Ovi be sad? Is he disrespected Troy by getting stuffed in the basement in the back of the card there with all like the junk or what?
I don't know. It kind of stinks that you're on the back with all the legalese, because if you display this card in a static case, you're probably putting the Crosby one in front, unless you're an Ovi fan, because that looks a lot better than that.
One thing Jeremy said, and he must have seen these in person, is that they're super thick. Now, they didn't have like the rotated kind of video on PWCC, and I've never seen one in person. So we'll have to take Jeremy's word on that. But yeah. 2005-06 is the only year Upper Deck included noble numbers in the cup. Kind of a unicorn card it makes it then. All are out of 10. What's really interesting when you go to the checklist too is that Upper Deck tended to like double or triple or quadruple up with players for the set too. So as an example, Troy, there's more than one Crosby. You got the Crosby and Ovechkin, and then there's also a Crosby with Mario Lemieux. Here's some other kind of combos from the checklist though. I thought some of these Sergei Fedorov, Pavel Datsyuk. That'd be a good one, huh? Gretzky and Lemieux.
I was gonna say you're gonna read off a bunch of them. I'd want every one of these.
Oh, and there's a ton more too. Gretzky and Lemieux, Yager and Hasek, Paul Kariya, Teemu Selanne. That's kind of this one, Troy. Guy Lafleur and Mike Bossy.
That's sweet.
That would be an awesome one. Then you have Lemieux and Yager, Forsberg and Sakic, Yzerman and Lemieux, tons of Lemieux. But what do you think of these? Do you like they're hard to kind of appreciate because you only can see half of it at one time, but I don't know.
I would love to see one in person. I do. I like them, but man, I know they have to put all the legalese and stuff back here, but it just kind of stinks that it's in the way of this card on the back.
That slab just looks like a big, like giant cinder block too.
It does, and it almost looked like it almost looked like one of those. Remember, we see tiny cards. It kind of looks like this too, but it's just the way the slab is. Yeah, I was thinking it had to be thick just from. You look at the front, you got a patch here, and then you have a whole different patch on the back. So it has to be pretty dang thick.
Only ever been one sale of the 2005-06 The Cup Noble Numbers Crosby and Ovechkin. It was a BGS 8.5 copy sold in the PWCC Weekly in June 2021 for $6,100 US. Got a current bid?
$1,300 US.
Had you ever seen these cards before?
I have not. No.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mitch talked about them in our cup thing, but
I'm sure he did.
He probably showed
there's
us
so
too,
much. It was like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much information. All right, you got the next modern card.
I do. Josh, this is fantastic. This is my card right here. This is the stuff I love. 1995 Finest Refractor Sandis Ozolinsh, number 141, PSA 8. Josh, PSA population 101 with just one graded higher. Just one graded higher. So, okay, here's the deal.
It's not an eBay 101?
No, it's not an eBay 101. So,
okay.
Here's my deal on this card. I love mid-90s players. That's my jam. I love mid-90s. I watched hockey constantly as a kid or high schooler, I guess, in the mid-90s. This is a player I remember watching. So that's why this card just jumps out. And I know he has zero hobby love. So we're just going to get that out of the way. But
he's got your love, Troy. He's got
my love. He's got my love. Plus, I think it's just a pretty cool looking card from the mid-90s. And I know you're in love with mid-90s inserts and stuff like that, which just I think
passionately in love with mid-90s.
Yeah, it's considered. And I like him also. And this just looks, I love this card. I love how it looks. And I'm going to get the pricing stuff out of the way first, because here's the deal. It's PSA 8. It's not going to break the bank, Josh. In fact, this exact card, same PSA number and everything, sold on eBay on December 31st of 2023 for $3.25 US. So I don't care about that one bit. That just means that, hey, I might be able to get a sweet card of a mid-90s guy that I watched and remembered for dirt cheap.
So somebody sniped it on eBay,
Yeah.
for $3 and said, I'm going to put this in the PWCC Weekly and make a ton of money selling it to Troy.
It's not to Troy. Well, we'll get to that. Wait till we'll get to that. Keep a pin in it, like you like to say.
All right.
All right. So the 95-96 finest set issued in one series totaling 191 cards. Players were featured across 3 themes. There was finest rookies, finest performers, and finest defenders, which you can see this card is. Within those themes, cards were produced in different quantities. Some players were common, some uncommon, and some rare. Breakdown for the player selection of common, which are bronze, which this one is. Uncommon was silver, and the rares were gold. And this was a weird description, and I got this from, I actually had to find these descriptions from David Adams on a cell. They had a description for a box that says, cards was supposedly random with no consideration given to the status of each player in the set. Although many of the gold cards did feature upper echelon stars. Okay, I thought that was just a very odd thing to put in there. Anyways, odds of finding an uncommon silver card were 1 in 4 packs, while golds were found in 1 in 24 packs. Configuration was 24 packs per box, 7 cards per pack. I didn't know any of that.
Jam those boxes full of packs, didn't they?
Yeah, and these were ones, I think these had, I could have swore some of these had the, what do you call it? The film over it.
Yeah, the protective layer, like the peel here thing.
And this is where I didn't do enough research, because I could have swore sometimes in the PSA like label, it would say like, I don't know, film removed or something. It said, I thought they used to say that.
With peel or no peel, I thought.
Yeah, with peel, no. So maybe this one didn't have it. I don't know. If you look on TCDBA, you can see some that have peel on them. Anyways, again, it's PSA 8. Card looks great. It's a refractor. It's bronze. You can see that on the card. It's nice and shiny. Looks nice and shiny. There's some very minor whitening. If you zoom in here on the bottom left, you can see some on the bottom edge. You can see some fraying, but nothing drastic. Centering looks pretty good. Top to bottom, slightly off. And left to right might just be slightly off as well. But sometimes I think my eyes are playing tricks on me. But it does look like, and you can see kind of maybe these blue lines run over a little bit. So that's the issues of it. But again, PSA 8 looks great. Sandis Ozelinch, I love that name. 1-time Cup winner, 1-time first All-Star team selection, 7-time NHL All-Star game selection. Josh, for his career, 167 goals, 397 assists, 564 points in 875 games played 15 seasons with a whole bunch of teams: San Jose, Colorado, Carolina, Florida, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and the New York Rangers.
Wow.
Josh, he is the all-time leader for goals, assists, points, and games played by a Latvian player in the NHL.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there you go. Prototypical offensive defenseman. This guy was all about offensive defenseman. Could play defense, could play offense. He was really like to rush the puck. Fantastic player. Currently, he's a scout for the Colorado Avalanche. Now, we already talked pricing, Josh. It's currently sitting at a starting bid of $5. So no bids currently. But if you want to bid, it's $5. They're going to get one bid. I'm going to bid. So see if I can get it for $5.
564 points in 857 games. No joke for a defenseman.
Yeah, 875. But yeah, it's no joke. I mean, he 7-time All-Star. I mean, I know All-Star games, All-Star game, and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, he's got a cup, first All-Star team selection. I remember him. He was a good player.
Yeah, I remember him too. Okay, the last card we're going to look at, 2019 Upper Deck Buybacks, Mario Lemieux, 2017 O-Pee-Chee Platinum, Violet Pixels, Auto 3, PSA 9, Auto 10. This card has me all sorts of befuddled. Been a little hard to wrap my head around it, but sometimes I like picking these cards though, because helps me work it out with you a little bit and figure out where I stand on some of these. Part of me absolutely loves this card. I'm a huge O-Pee-Chee Platinum fan. Love Mario Lemieux. Love Mario Lemieux autos. So, but then there's part of me that doesn't too. We'll get into that. So the original card, of course, is the 2017 O-Pee-Chee Platinum Lemieux Violet Pixels. Now this one's hand numbered to 3, and you might be thinking, well, Violet Pixels are numbered 2. How does that work? In 2017, Violet Pixels was not numbered. They're numbered in the more modern sets, so it was a good candidate to maybe add the auto and then add the number. I think today they're out of like 399 or something like that. Now, in the 2017-18 set for OPC Platinum, the Violet Pixels Parallels had a hobby pack odds of 1 in 10 and blaster of 1 in 12.5. With over 200 cards in the base set, so basically like the hobby pack odds to hit this exact card would have been 1 in 2,000 packs back in 2017. The picture of Lemieux on the card is from the 1990 NHL All-Star Game, played in Lemieux's home arena in Pittsburgh. You got the All-Star logo on there in the bottom left corner of the card as well. Lemieux Troy is donned in his Wales Conference white uniform, center patch being that NHL old school logo with the letters sloping downward that we love. Captain of the team. I'm going to call that now the downward dog logo. Felt like you need a better, more succinct way to say it. Next big plus on this card, in my opinion, is that not only is it numbered out of 3, but it's hand numbered. I love hand numbered cards.
Yeah.
Some people can take it or leave it, but for me, just love that. The auto has a 10 grade, which is good. But that's where I start to have a little bit of questions about this card around the auto. Number one, it's very thick marker.
Yep.
Some people are not big fans of the thick marker autos. I wonder if they had to do it. Part of me was impressed that they got the auto to sit on this platinum card without like deadening part of it or making it like rougher. You know what I mean? Typically when you auto a chromium card, the ink doesn't really stick very well.
So I have a dumb question about this. Was this auto, so it's a buyback, did they Upper Deck then get him to sign it and then it was put in packs? It wasn't after the fact. Okay. Because what's wild to me is the back doesn't say anything about an auto. But I get why, because it's a buyback.
You get like another card with it.
And that's what it tells you.
Oh, so a lot of times they'll even put that. You won't be able to see the card back because you'll see that additional thing that Upper Deck gives you.
Okay, cool.
And my problem with those, so the auto is good. It's thick marker. Probably had to do it because of chromium. I wish they would have picked like a better ink color because it gets a little bit lost on this card.
Yeah.
And I actually found another one, which is out of 6. It's the rainbow parallel where the auto is a lot better on that card. It just, the Violet Pixels has so much like sparkle going on.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It gets a little lost. But the more I look at some of these buybacks, the more I think I'm warming up to the idea and actually wondering if we should ask Tony when we talk to him, but if Upper Deck is considering doing another buyback set where they go find these kind of cards and then kind of spruce them up and make them into something special. I don't know. What do you think about this whole idea of a card like this?
I wish this one was done just a little better. But I don't mind the idea. I don't know if I'm the guy. It's just not me. I'm not a big buyback person.
All right. That's all right. There's been one previous sale. It was the 3 of 3 copy. So for $408 US back in April 2023, you got a current bid?
$110 US.
Yeah, PSA 9 out of 10. I'm sure this one will sell pretty well.
Yeah.
Those are the cards that stood out to us to view and place bids on these cards and all the rest of the hockey cards in this week's PWCC Weekly Auction. Head to PWCC Marketplace.com. Okay, Troy, personal pickups. What do you got?
Buoy. Hold on, YouTubers. Sorry about that. There we go. I got the Buoy Joker card out of O-Pee-Chee, out of the new release. That was pretty cool. And then I just want to show this off because I know we talked about them, but I think these black border retros.
Those are beautiful.
O-Pee-Chee set look amazing. So if you're on YouTube, I'm showing one on the screen. It's Sorokin, numbered out of 100. Looks fantastic. So that's all I got.
I actually bought 3 cards in last Sunday's PWCC Weekly.
Nice. You went big time.
But big time. And I was doing the show too. So I was like half distracted and half buying cards. First one I got, Troy, is a 2022-23 Medal of the Universe Leon Draisaitl Hot Shots insert. It's the first Hot Shots for Draisaitl. So this is kind of a tribute insert that they redo every few years or something like that. But I'm a big fan of first, so I had to pick up this one. And then I picked up 2 cards that you never tend to see. It's the actual Bounty Award cards.
Yeah.
From SB Authentic. So the first one is a 2017 SB Authentic Spectrum FX Gold out of 50 Leon Draisaitl. And then a 2020 Spectrum FX Gold out of 50 Ovi bounty card as well is the second card that I just kind of wanted to see him first in hand a little bit. And they weren't very expensive.
Yeah.
All right. That's our show for the Thursday edition of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. If you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to chat with us on the Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation via Patreon. Join our at a $1.99 support level tier. Link is in the show description in a podcast app or YouTube. It's on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. There's a become a patron link at the top of the page. You can just go to Patreon's website if you want, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gongshow. And if none of those places fit your fancy, then you go to our Instagram and TikTok profiles as well. We're on social media, Troy. I don't know if you knew that. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Darbox Ventures, LLC. I made it.
Made it.
I made it. Pop medicine, cold medicine, here we come. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you watch it, and we'll catch up with you on Monday.